Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Oh, look at me. I'm retarded. I'm a globe.
I'm scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, coming to you 250 miles above your imagination from the International Fake Station. My good friend Something Wong is here to make sure we're flying straight and level. He's taking care of the technographical aspect of our journey tonight. We are going to go over and look at Witsit is kicking it with Will Duffy, famous financial con man and man behind the final experiment that's not an experiment. We're going to go check that out. There's a little bit of a delay between all the way up here in your imagination and the actual live broadcast. So what we're going to do is we're going to kick over there right now and see if we can get it going. Hang on just a minute here. There he is. Look at that. Look at that. It's big time. It's happening. Let's go. I'm going to go here. We're just a few minutes live without him.
Oh, man. Long awaited show. I'm going to go ahead and start it off by asking the chat to be chill because people are spiraling about this conversation. I think it's super weird. I think people on both sides are being super weird. So I would ask you guys to just be adults. There are always the group of people that obsessively come to this channel with ill intent, but you should take the high road and just be respectful and be chill. So I'm obviously really pro free speech here, so do what you do.
Let's take it on up to where he gets going with it. Here he is.
Right. We finally got to do this.
Yeah, man. Yes, I was making it take a while on accident, but we're here. We made it.
Life happens.
Yeah, man. And we were gonna do it last week, and then that didn't work. And then before that, it was just me being not good at.
Be really careful. Watch the body language. Watch the body language on everybody. You get more information out of that than you will out of anything.
A lot of people in the community are not your biggest fan. I'm sure you know that. There's a mixed bag there, and a lot of people are mad at Jaren now, I guess, and a lot of people are mad at me, and we're just now starting to talk. So I find all that very weird. I do understand why people are a bit skeptical of you, but I find the behavior in general pretty weird. But I'll give you a heads up. I'm probably going to ask you a few
Shut
more
up!
questions that people want me to ask you, and so there's the disclaimer. But if you want to
No
kind of
problem.
just intro, I'm sure almost everyone here knows you or have heard of you or what you want to do. But if you want to kind of lay it out and just introduce yourself, go for it, brother.
Yeah, thanks. So, Will Duffy,
I'm Will Duffy. I've scammed a bunch of people out of money. I'm in a lot of trouble and have to do a lot of arbitration. And I've become the latest travel agents for ALE.
which is something that I believe will give us some finality on this debate over globe versus flat Earth. And interestingly enough, I was actually telling my flat Earth friend Wendy today that I didn't come up with the final experiment in reality. In reality, I got this idea from flat earthers. Flat earthers like Dave Weiss,
Sure you did.
Dean Odell, Jaron,
Sure.
Eric Dubay, things you've said. And so just being in this debate and just watching the videos and the memes and reading the articles over like a 2-year span, I noticed there was like this common theme of like this 24-hour sun in Antarctica was a big deal. And the globe side said there is one, the flat earth side said there wasn't. And both sides seemed to think that if they were wrong on the 24-hour sun, that they were wrong on the shape of the earth as well. So what I did is I put together the final experiment, which is going to
lies. Let's get it on up to where we're at. We're a minute behind. Let's catch up to real time.
And then a video pops up and everyone shares it, and turns out that it was faked. They looped it. So that's what I've always said. I've always also been very honest that if there was a 24-hour sun in Antarctica that did a full 360 around you, that would definitely, it would be very perplexing. I don't expect it. Based on the preponderance of evidence, it doesn't seem like that would be the case. So it would definitely make me step back and reconsider things. Specifically, what I've always said would prove it is actually north to south circumnavigation. So like that's actually been my claim, so much so I put it in like a rap song back in the day. That was like the thing I used to always say, because it would, right? Obviously, if you go south and you pop back up on the other side of the ball, that can only happen on a globe, and obviously east to west happens every day, thousands of times.
That would be about the only thing that would even begin to start changing my mind, is if somebody was able to actually do polar circumnavigation.
It's like, oh, so what are you going to say if you see it? What are you going to think? I would say, wow, I didn't expect to see that. That matches the globe prediction. Certainly, if it did exactly what the globe says, and I would have to step back and reassess everything. I don't. Apparently, people were frustrated with Jaren. I don't know what he has or hasn't said, but I will definitely say right now, I wouldn't just immediately pretend the Earth's a globe. That wouldn't happen. And that's because of the preponderance of evidence against it. But it definitely would be very interesting and unexpected, and it would make me step back and reconsider things. So there's kind of my take on that. I guess what people really want me to ask you, bro, is, do you understand that line of reasoning as a flat earther? There may be split camps, but there are many people that are going to say, okay, if Austin goes to Antarctica and thinks he sees a 24-hour sun or gives me a video, that doesn't make like line of sight microwave transmissions disappear. It doesn't make all this other evidence that they think falsifies the radius go away. And they're going to say, well, it would show. Okay, here I'm actually going to wrap it up here, and you can talk however long you want, bro. But basically, this is the part of it that's different. Your side, let's just say the mainstream side, the globe model side, it's a very specific claim. It doesn't have options. Like if the sun sets, the model's wrong. Like there are no options there. When it comes to flat Earth, we're like, we don't know what's going on in the sky. And most of us have kind of been humbled by the sky and the Earth and what the Creator made it. We're like, I mean, it's like insane. It's hard to grasp. We don't know what's going on. So we have like a wide spectrum of things. We could literally just go to the drawing board and try to figure it out, whereas the other side can't do that. And so there is a fundamental difference there that I think is being overlooked by people on your side, right? And I think there's people on quote unquote my side that are also being somewhat intellectually dishonest about this conversation as well. But I do think it's somewhere in the middle there. So just to lay all that out there, that's how I see it.
Okay, I'm gonna respond. I'm gonna try to respond.
No,
to
yeah,
everything
do your
you
thing.
just said.
Yeah.
Okay, I tried to remember them all in my mind. So the first thing I'll respond to, and I know you're not saying this, but if people out there don't like the word experiment in the final experiment, I have a new thing I'm telling people, which is this: just change it to the final expedition, and then you can be happy. So that's my response to that. The second thing you said had to do with north-south circumnavigation. Can you just tell me, for my own curiosity, what that would look like in your mind to actually prove that we live on a globe?
Yeah. So obviously, east to west, you start in one place, you just go in a giant circle, come back to where you started. You just do the same thing north to south. And as far as we understand, on a flat Earth, if you go south, you can't just keep going and come back to where you started. On a globe, you should be able to theoretically just keep going just like you do east west. Logistically, it would be tricky, right? You don't have to know exactly where you are. You're going to have to verify where you are and verify accuracy of cardinal direction. But anyway, if you continued south, you'd pop back up going north on the other side of the ball, which would be exclusive to a globe, as far as I can.
Okay, so would, like, obviously east to west, they have to stop and land, right? So are you allowing for that on the north south?
Sure, yeah. Like
Okay.
if you went to Antarctica and landed and fueled up or whatever, right? Yeah, like I said, logistically it is tricky. Like I'll be the first one to say it, because flat earthers are not just going to blindly believe anything. So you have to verify where you are, and that's really difficult to verify that you're for sure doing this theoretical straight line across the heart of Antarctica. But again, it's the thing that we're lied to so much about it, that I again don't think it had. Like someone was given a circumnavigation record for not actually doing it. So it's like, why would you give him the record? The world.
So is he going to reveal tonight whether or not he's actually going? That's what I'd like to know.
But to me, that's a much more definitive proof,
I mean, if
because
this
that
is
is
gonna
a
be the same old
physical,
fucking argument,
that's physically
bullshit. Who
traversing
cares?
in such a way that is geometrically impossible on a flat Earth.
I mean, am I right? I mean, is he going to go or not going to go? If he goes, Duffy's got to give up his seat. And then if that happens, Duffy's still in the same boat he's in right now. Okay. Relying on somebody else's fucking observation. So this is what I'm curious about.
Yeah, you wouldn't even need to go across the whole globe. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess, people would argue about that, because they're going to be like, well, what if we don't really know about the layout of the continents and that they're accurate or whatever? I'm not going to lie. That would be a logistical nightmare. You would have to really iron everything out. But yes, obviously the most ideal situation is that you literally just keep going one direction and come back to where you started. And even if you have to stop on the way, we circumnavigate all the time.
Okay, cool. All right. Then the third point you brought up is,
Wouldn't it be the same logistical concerns if you could set up a supply line? It wouldn't be hard to do, like a bucket brigade type thing that could actually supply the thing. That could actually be done.
would agree with this as well. Would you agree that if we do see a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, that would at least falsify the AE map?
A 24-hour sun that does a full 360 around you. Yeah, like, unless someone, like, to my current knowledge, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, can someone come do some demonstration? And I'm like, wow, I never thought of that. Some people are claiming, there's a guy that flat earth philosophy, I haven't seen it to any convincing extent. I don't really know exactly what he says, but yeah, for the most part, I don't know any mechanism other than something I haven't heard really people really talk about. And contrary to what McToon says, the Bible actually is a science book. and it says that there's multiple layers, and so there may be some way in that situation where there are multiple layers and the sun's within it. But long story short,
Listen, if there was a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, we would have a fucking video time lapse of it by now. Okay? Pure and simple. Now, if after 125 years of having people down in Antarctica, all of a sudden somebody does have a 24-hour sun, somebody's up to some fuckery. That's what the reality is. That's the reality of it. And this is why I'm so suspect about why all of a sudden this year, after 125 years of people in Antarctica, all of a sudden this year is going to be the deciding factor. Kiss my ass.
North, and people started in different places on the world, they'd end up in the same spot. So I think there's agreement on that from both sides. Yeah.
I don't know if I followed you. Like you said, north.
Yeah, north. So if somebody's in Norway and someone's in Canada, and maybe Russia, and they all just had a compass and they all followed it north, and they had no issues getting there, they'd all end up in the same spot.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, seemingly, obviously, we have like magnetic declination and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah. And then, okay, so we agree on that. So then my point is this, now is where the two models part ways. If they then take those compasses and they go the exact opposite of north on the compass, so south.
They don't, though. They never
on the
do.
globe, they would end up eventually, that's a long distance, but eventually they'd end up in the same spot again. But on a flat Earth, they're going to end up
Even if
further
the
away
bullfrog
from
had
each
wings,
other.
it wouldn't bump its ass every time.
Right?
This is an idealized situation though, because when you go south, if you like, for example, if you actually did that right now in real life, if you went south using a compass, like you're definitely not gonna end up in the same place. Like you're not gonna end up where the globe says. If you like in this idealized idea that everyone just goes south from the equator, you're not gonna end up all at the same place like the globe predicts. It's not even close, right? I mean, people died doing that.
My big point is that on the flat Earth model, going south, you get further away from each other.
Sure, absolutely.
And so if we have people, so I haven't found these people yet, but if we have people, we're going to go to Antarctica from South America. So we're going to go to the very tip of South America and then fly to Antarctica. If you've got somebody going from Australia or New Zealand straight south from Australia or New Zealand to Antarctica, and then somebody from South Africa straight south to Antarctica, those three people are going to be as far away as possible on the flat Earth. And then if all three of those people all have the same sun doing a 360 around them, that's going to be difficult to reconcile with the AE map. I think impossible.
You're talking about just southern continents?
I'm talking about three people all in Antarctica at the same time, but in different places.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, I'm content. Like, I think it's okay if there's flat earthers that are like, hey, if there's a 24-hour sun.
Don't we already have people in like several different places around Antarctica already? Don't we already have that? I was pretty much under the impression we had that already.
And see what we can do. I'm fine with either.
Yeah, see, I would undoubtedly be in the second camp, if anything. Like I already am not like married to the AIM. You know, like I think there are discrepancies. Even satellite data shows that there needs to be meridian corrections in the south. So, you know, I think there's disproportionate continents in the south and all of that. So that's no problem. I mean, I think it's refreshing for me to hear you say that, because
that's why
I don't know if everyone else knew that.
You don't live on a map, folks.
Obviously, again, the elephant in the room is, bro, like if I see a 24-hour sun, I will be shocked. I'll be like, wait, what? If I was able to look at it with solar filters and everything and see the sunspots and see that it.
Listen, I think it's funny as shit that everybody's goddamn fighting about this shit, and ain't nobody ever even gone yet. Ain't nobody even gone yet. These people are already fighting about it and shit. Let's see what happens, man. You know where I sit with it.
Because, dude, in World War II, they sent radar 400 something miles and intersected with another station directly on their target so they could actually bomb them blind because it was nighttime. And Britain turned down the technology because they're like, no, the globe's gonna stop that. And the Germans were like, okay. The Britons got destroyed because of the globe Earth. And that is a physical impossibility. Like I wouldn't just all of a sudden not know that, is my point. Like it's literally physically impossible that someone can, it's because the beam has to be coherent and it has to intersect. And we can maybe, I would like to maybe discuss a couple of the FE things at some point. We can do it later. We're not there right now, but because that's the part that I want to actually get out there that I think people are frustrated about. People are going to say that they don't really believe.
He is talking a lot that if I went and if I saw this and if, you know, is he actually, you know, does this mean that he's going to say, yeah, I'll go? What do y'all think?
When you co-align with someone, frankly, like Platoon, whether you do or not now, it doesn't matter. Like, he is very dishonest about the evidence, right? Like, not even all the personal stuff he's dishonest about, which is a ton, claiming that I'm scared to debate him a dozen times and all that. It doesn't matter. The point is that, like, almost all the people in this group will say sunsets disprove flat Earth. They will ignore that, you know, evidence I just talked about. And so if someone sees like, oh, you know, they don't feel like there's any intellectual honesty with all these other evidences, at least some version of concession, or they can see, oh yeah, I don't know how that would work or whatever, then they're going to be highly skeptical of this presentation that it's just this real sincere, I think maybe it is flat, let's figure it out. You see, that's why people are like so eager to jump on you.
Yeah, here's the intellectual dishonesty that I see. And I'm going to use an example of myself, but I'm trying to help flat earthers understand how they sound to us. So as a glober,
wait. How flat earthers sound to us. Didn't he initially say he was neutral? He didn't know? Fuck this con man.
Hey, my model's wrong, but it's just a different globe. I'm not going to consider a flat earth. That would be intellectual dishonesty, right? And so that's what I'm seeing flat earthers doing, is saying, well, if there is a 24-hour sun, well, we're not even going to consider the globe as an option. We're just going to go find a new flat earth model. That is intellectual dishonesty. Intellectual honesty.
No, because the preponderance of evidence shows that it is not a globe, Duffy. Whatever's going on in the sky is not an indication of what's going on the ground. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Saying, and I do see dishonesty in the flat earth camp, and the dishonesty is more accurately put like this. It is the flat earthers who would no question be saying, we know we don't see a 24-hour sun. That doesn't happen. They fake it for years. Have now all of a sudden pretend it doesn't matter at all, and that they don't care at all. And like, that's not what flat earth is. You know, flat earth is like, yo, I want to find the truth. They're hiding it from us. Let's find it out. Like, any flat earther to suddenly backtrack on even wanting to know what the sun does is that is super suspect. And it shows that maybe they're not confident in their position. Maybe they have some pride or ego, whatever it is. And flat earthers are not very trustworthy, and they have maybe vowed.
I'm looking at it like this, okay? If they go to Antarctica and after 125 years, nobody's seeing a 24-hour sun. National Geographic guy, what was that guy that went across there, went deep into Antarctica and shit in the middle of December and said that it got really cold when the sun went down. I mean, all this. So I'm looking, the preponderance of evidence shows that it would be impossible to have a globular Earth. Okay, that's just fucking stupid. So if there's a 24-hour sun, there's one of two things happening. Somebody's pulling some fuckery, or there's a phenomenon that we don't understand, because it's not suddenly going to convex the Earth. It's not suddenly going to allow us to be both an open and closed system at the same time. It's not going to automatically make gases be a mass when they're all independent molecules. They can never come together as a cohesive mass, and they have to be contained. So I don't know where these people are getting this fucking idea.
point to make. Like, I'm not going, like I said, I will consider the globe. I'll say this in closing, like you said, if they won't even consider it, I'll consider it. This is what's so funny, dude. I've considered the globe every day since I first heard about flat Earth, and that is a major difference. In I can't speak for other flat earthers, but that's the truth. I don't think globe earthers do, like most of them in this conference, they don't do that. They still say sunsets don't work on a flat Earth. Okay, they can't even still man a flat Earth, dude. I can still man the globe like with the best of them, and I randomly look at the moon and say, "Is it really what they said?" I actually consider it on a regular basis. I was in a plane. I'm like, could this be a globe? I'm at the beach. I'm like, trying to conceive of a globe, right? I do that a lot. I would have no problem going back and considering the globe, especially that would make me really look at it for sure.
Bing, bing, bing.
But I
bing,
think
bing,
it would be
bing,
very
bing,
short-lived because I just fall right back on World War II.
Danger, Dr. Smith. Danger, Dr. Smith.
Intersect had to be coherent within 450-yard divergence, and it's literally physically impossible in a sphere. So now I'm like just super confused, right? Because these things aren't adding up at that point. So that's what would happen for me. Now I will say this: I know that for the average person, it's going to be a slam dunk for the globe. Flat Earth is disproven. Ha 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 ha. Flat Earthers disprove flat Earth, and that's why a lot of flat earthers don't want it to happen. It isn't really as much that they're scared of it; it's that they know how it's going to work. They know that the mainstream's going to run with it. They're scared of hit pieces.
Yeah, that all makes sense.
And the fact that you're a fucking con man, Duffy, the fact that you're a liar, a con man, a deceiver, I don't know, that's got me going right there. And you're in bed with them.
I strongly encourage that, for sure. I think that people are getting triggered. I haven't been keeping up with it, but people have been reaching out to me recently, so I don't know what he said recently, but I think if there's anyone, like, people are going to feel like, are you really a flat earther or were you a plant? If you ever say, like, you would just immediately go over to the globe, that just doesn't make any sense. It's like, bro, that makes no sense in my opinion. Like, I know way too much. It's the preponderance of evidence. And that's what Bob used to always say. And this is another important part of it, right? That a lot of the people on that side don't seem to get, bro. If I took flat earth out of it, so we're generalizing here. The group that normally combats flat earth. Take flat earth out of it. Say we're wrong about it. We're still right about young earth. We're still right about geocentrism. We're still right about the poison they give our children. We're still right about homeschooling our children. We're still right about the pseudoscience of dinosaurs, billions of years. All these pseudoscience claims. We're still right about all that. We're right about all that. In that side that claims that we're so stupid and deny science, they're wrong about all those things. They're wrong about evolution. They're wrong about creationism. They're wrong about virology. I mean, the list goes on. So
Jack in the Box.
I guess they don't understand. Like, I'm not scared. If somehow I was shown definitively, somehow I've been deceived and wrong this whole time, I would wake up the next day and not skip a beat and still have this whole list of things that need to be talked about that we're being lied to about. So you see, I feel like I feel like there's a disconnect there where they don't really seem to get that. And that's definitely where Jaron's coming from. Jaron's like, I mean, I'm not going to suddenly be a heliocentrist, even if I were convinced of it. Right?
Yeah, that's a great point. So the final experiment is not addressing any of those other issues at all. It's not. It's simply addressing the globe model versus the flat Earth model, specifically the AE map, and that's it. It's not addressing heliocentrism versus geocentrism, age of the Earth, any of that stuff. So it's a great point.
Yeah, sure. And
so basically, you're going to disprove a map that's already not right to begin with. Gotcha. Why is none of the maps right? Because of the way that they have to be made, man.
Side. Like, say, so if the sun sets for 2-3 weeks, they wouldn't say anything. They wouldn't even say it would disprove the globe. Now, bigger names have said it, and now they all kind of, most people are saying it now. And both sides kind of do that, honestly. Like, they wait for certain people that they trust to say it, and then they think they have the green light. So now almost all the globers are saying it would disprove the globe. But this is the difference. If I ask, okay, what would you do? You don't even get a serious answer out of me. Like, it's like, go to an insane asylum. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think I would literally question my ability to discern anything in the world. I would have to shut down everything in my, like, they can't even actually look at it and think about it. Now, these are generalized. There's probably exceptions, but you can see the difference there. Like, I find it very weird, because it doesn't really scare me. I guess here, okay, I'm kind of rambling. This is my main point here, and I will say this to the flat earthers. The whole idea of flat earth is that we're not scared of anything. That's like show us, and every time they supposedly claim we're going to go to Antarctica, they cancel it, they back out, they make excuses. I'm not scared. The only reason that I wouldn't agree to this trip is if I prayed and felt like I was shown not to go.
1, I don't trust Duffy. 2, I don't trust fucking McKeegan. 3, I don't trust any of the motherfuckers involved in this dumb shit, man.
Weren't agreed upon. You know, like the idea of us kind of being in a behind the curve 2.0. Like, I'm not allowing that to happen. There's too many people that trust me to never let that happen. Like, I'm not going to let it happen. So there will have to actually be agreements in place. That's not going to let that happen. Now, if we go and see it, for sure, you should be able to make some type of video showing that you saw it. But I will not agree to be in some hit piece where I'm taken out of context and we have tape on our mouth while they strawman. You see, that's a big concern.
You'll be happy to know there's going to be no cameramen. I've actually been approached by multiple film companies and turned them down. So that's completely off the table. It's just going to be us.
Okay, well, obviously, I mean, say McKeegan. That's exactly what McKeegan would do. I don't know him that well, but I don't know. I'm just saying there have to be some type of stipulation. I don't necessarily we don't have to get into all of those in this stream. We can obviously do that going forward, but I want everyone to know on both sides here that I'm being very transparent. I have the whole time. The reason that we haven't talked for a while has nothing to do with me like being scared of going or something. It's just that I literally have way too much stuff going on, and this doesn't pay my bills. You know, I have other stuff going on, but there are a list of things where if I ostensibly agree, if there's something that, you know, should be agreed on that's not, then I won't do it. You know, and one of them being like the definitive assurance there won't be a hit piece like that, whether that's final edit rights or however that goes down. And then I guess there's like some type of rule where if it storms and you have to cover all this money if you're stranded there, like I can't do it. I'm not paying for that. Right?
Yeah.
Like so little things like
you
that.
won't have to spend a dime.
And I guess I just mean like obviously
that's
like real
what's so
professionally.
goddamn suspect. You know you got to spend a dime. This motherfucker's going to foot the bill. And what's the return?
Or any concerns or things you've seen that you want my take on? Because I want to at some point hit you with these questions people want me to ask.
Sure. So here's what I'd like to say. The Globe side is taking a bit of a stronger stance now on everything. So there's a growing list on MC Tune's website called TFE Commitments. And it's the Globe side's commitments to what they'll do if there's not a 24-hour sun. And I don't have them all memorized, but I can tell you that Tune, I think he would delete all his videos and stop debunking. Craig, FTFE, said he would change his channel to FTGE, Fight the Globe Earth. And so they are making some pretty, what I think is pretty.
No, we don't want Craig.
They'll do if they're wrong.
We don't want these guys. We don't want them. They can just go away now.
I mean, I will bite my tongue, but I hear you. That's cool. Yeah, I could care less, honestly, about like Tune deleting it.
Yeah. You're right. Look,
he would have no choice. But so it's not.
He's gonna blow all this fucking money. There's no return on it whatsoever,
as fast as possible because it would be utterly embarrassing at this point. Certainly, the dehumanizing approach that both of those people have had will be shameful. But I will say this as well: the vast majority of online presence with anti-flat Earth.
Listen, I think he told me he went to a high school, and I'm wanting to say West Bloomfield in Michigan, but that could be wrong. Because when I told him I was a caddy at Orchard Lake Country Club, he then told me that he grew up in that same area. So I'm wanting to say he said West Bloomfield, but it could have been Farmington. I don't remember, but it was a high school in southeastern Michigan. That's what he says.
I think Jaron may be a little bit blunt with them, and I can empathize. I understand. If Jaron's saying he's going to be a Glober when he gets back, well, we disagree. So we'll go together and disagree on that. But anyway, So,
Okay.
and this is another thing, though. This is another thing that I want to make sure that we really kind of, I've said it a few times, but like you get that if we see that in the sky, you can see why they're saying it's not just going to make all the other refutations on the ground like dissipate.
Right. He's saying it's not going to just suddenly convex the Earth. The reason I entertain the idea of fuckery being involved is because of all these people that all of a sudden it's important this year that they go there. Now, Duffy might not be planning a media thing, but these other folks that are going down there are. Let's not forget that.
In the right direction for your side, but it is definitely not. And yeah, that's how I mean that's how I feel. A lot of people will say Austin's a grifter, and he has to keep saying it's flat. He would never admit it. It's like it's such a lie. You know, like I've been like so many people have asked me to come on these big platforms like just ditch the flat Earth though. Like it's actually a hindrance to me. So anyway, you get like I just want to be very upfront with you, right? Like if you think I'm going and I'm going to be overnight converted to globism, you know, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't, like realistically.
No, I get it. I think that's completely fine. So again, I can't know how people are going to react to something, but what I can say is that the flat earthers for the last 10 years, I believe, have never once said a 24-hour sun in Antarctica is possible on a flat earth.
No, only one person I know of. It's the flat earth philosophy guy has effectively been saying that for a while. Not explicitly, but just he explains like a reflective southern phenomena inside of a torus field that I'm not even claiming is viable, but that's the only person I know. Dude, I 100% agree with you here. Flat earthers have all been saying, we've all been saying basically the exact same thing, which is there isn't. And yeah, 24-hour sun in Antarctica maybe would be a problem for flat earth, or people will say it would be a problem for flat earth, but that's not what happens. And 24-hour sunlight isn't a problem. We can explain that. Almost every flat earther has said that since its modern resurrection. So this like collective like 180 is weird. I don't like it. Like I disavow. Like just be honest. We've all said the same thing, and I still that's my position. I don't think it'll happen. I'm curious. You said you talked to them about it. You talked to the people about seeing it.
You mean the company we're using? I talked to them about being able to film.
Yeah, but didn't I hear you say that you told them why and they laughed about it? They thought it was funny.
I told them about flat Earth and how they say there's not a 24-hour sun and how I want to go down there and film it. Yeah.
And so I'm asking, did they explicitly tell you? Did they like laugh and say we see it all the time?
No.
Shouldn't they see it all the time? Like, okay, here's another thing I want to know. Like, would I be able to talk to these people before we go? Because as it stands right now, I think Jaren's trying to talk to him, hasn't really been able to, and so you can see we have basically just like you talking to them, which obviously you are paying for it, but I would like to talk.
So once I get a yes, so the only yes I've received so far is Dave McKeegan. Once I get a yes, I turn you over to them. You deal with them directly.
Why can't
you
you
ask
just
your questions,
deal with them
the
anyway?
paperwork.
Why do you have to,
everything's done, then they come back to me.
Why do you have to agree to it before you can talk to them? It's like we have to pass this before we can see what's inside it, right?
And maybe kind of answers the other question, because a lot of people are saying, why did they agree to give you permission to let us come out in the prohibited time when seemingly they never have done that? And do you actually have evidence of it? And that's kind of why I'm saying like I'd be able to talk to them.
Yeah, I can explain that. It's very easy.
Why
so if you look at Union Glacier, so
why the fuck can't you just call them
every year, every season? Okay, so in the southern winter, which is kind of right now, everything just gets covered in snow and ice. So they reset up the camp every year, and it's tense. Like they're super nice, but it's tense. And so they have a rule of quiet time where they don't want because there's light in the middle of the night. People are going to be tempted to just go outside and talk or whatever, but people are also going to want to sleep. So they just have that general rule. What I told them, hey, we need to be out to film the 24-hour sun. We can be super quiet. They can put us in a corner tent that's further away from a majority of the other tents. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay, and just to clarify, so you didn't specifically ask them if they regularly see a 24-hour sun?
No.
Okay.
I would.
All right. So
Where I went and
I
fucking wasted my money on it, I'd ask him, say, hey, you actually see it like that other guy? Oh, I saw a video of this guy called the fucking travel agent asking about this shit. And he says, oh, no, there's no 24-hour sun down there. You have to go north for that.
best interest of everyone.
Sure.
You know. So do you have anything else you kind of want to cover? I mean, obviously the basics are simple, right? Like realistically, flat earthers have all said, I don't think we're going to see it. And I'll tell you one thing, dude, if you asked them all right now, they would say, like, real flat earthers are going to say, I don't expect it to happen. I don't expect you to see it. I'm really perplexed as to how they would even let you go. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets canceled, etc. Like, I talk to flat earthers all the time. That's what the vast majority of people are saying. This group of people that are saying it wouldn't prove anything,
Hello, Crypto.
they also would say that what I just said, right? Like it's that's the part that's frustrating, because it's like that's usually what Glovers do. From my experience, is they deflect a lot.
Listen, I hate the cold, Rick. That's my biggest deterrent. I cannot stand the cold. Okay, that's food. No.
And then say kind of what I just explained, right? Which is that the preponderance of evidence, physical measurement and stuff doesn't just go out the window because we can't explain celestial phenomena. And I fully agree with that. I also think that an honest caveat is like, it definitely matches the globe. It doesn't match our current conception of flat Earth. Would be super perplexing. Doesn't fit in with the rest of the evidence the way that we see it. We need to step back and be honest and be like, okay, we need to recalibrate. We can't figure out some causal mechanism. Piece this together. We need to like reassess the situation.
You gonna go with?
I don't know why people are scared of saying that, but that's my position. I'm not gonna go as far as to say like, oh, you know, it would prove it. Wouldn't. Because like one thing that people want me to do right now is to get you to address certain FE evidences, right? And that's because I think typically you'll say, I don't know much about that. I haven't looked into that, or I don't fully know. And people are frustrated by that because that's the reason that's the reason flat Earth exists. And the people that you originally aligned yourself with, they don't just disagree with our conclusions. They are deceptive. So it's like there's a difference in disagreeing. Like, okay, you can think there's a globe, but you can think there's a globe without being deceptive. And you can have different conclusions without being deceptive. I know many people that are that way. My mom was just here, right? She thinks she doesn't know anything, but she thinks, she's not lying though. But like when someone tactically takes your argument, omits certain parts, spins it, and then misrepresents it, and then is corrected on the record, and then does it for 4 years, stuff like that. That is the typical behavior. That is the typical behavior. You can just look at my whole resume on modern day debate. Almost every time, the other person is incredibly dishonest and interrupts a lot and deflects a lot, misrepresents what I say. And McToon does that all the time. FDF does it all the time. So that's, I mean, a lot of people want me to really like make sure that this is addressed, right? Because it's like, that is the elephant in the room. It's like when you were put in the group with them, for many people, you lost credibility.
Yeah, man.
Now, I won't say that. I
will.
But it definitely didn't help.
I'll say it all day fucking long. That's what blew the trumpet with the red flags when I heard about this bullshit.
Guilty by association. I can't be responsible for what other people do. I have disagreements with MC2. I have major disagreements with FTFE.
Oh, fuck you.
I've got major disagreements with Creaky. Like, we have disagreements, but we happen to align on this issue.
Oh,
but
so that's it.
McToon mocks and ridicules young Earth creationists. McToon ridicules anyone that goes against evolution. McToon berates and harasses and sends people to harass anyone that's a geocentrist. McToon openly talks about how the Bible isn't a science book. You can't trust it at all for anything related to science. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not a, like, if you take flat earth out of
Lay
it,
it out there, Witsit.
that goes to show you there's something
Lay it out
weird
there,
here. It's
brother.
almost like dark, where these people will befriend anyone as long as they can team up against the flat earther, right? Like there's something like spiritual there, I would say. But anyway, yeah, so let me ask you that question. So are you a geocentrist?
I don't have a position. I'm open to it.
Okay. This is a crude thing, but let's not say gun to your head, but gun to your head type of thing, right? Like if you had to decide within 10 seconds, you have to decide. I'm not going to say anything crazy, but just like as to the, but you get it. Like if you had to decide right now, if geocentric model or heliocentric, which those are both misnomers in a way, but you get what I'm saying. Because the heliocentric model doesn't even exist anymore. It's actually a solar barycentric, and that's just for our local system, which is in the galaxy. And then there's a great attractor, which sounds a lot like Satan. But what's your take? What's your take if you had to pick? You don't have to, but I just want to know.
This is going to show my ignorance on the topic, okay? Because I really have not researched it at all. When I hear people talk about it, this is going to sound weird, okay? So just don't make fun of me. I don't see a big difference between heliocentrism and geocentrism when I hear people talk. And here's why. If the universe is huge, like massive, like we can't even understand how big it is, then the Earth and the sun are like right next to each other. Like for all intents and purposes, they're both in the center if the universe is huge. So that's why I just am not that excited about looking into it personally.
Yeah, like bluntly, man, that is such a cop-out, bro, because it is immensely important and immensely different. The most staunch atheists in the world that I've talked to, now there's some exceptions, they're just lying though. Like frankly, they're just being dishonest. And that's a pretty bold statement to say that, but I am saying it. When you ask them, okay, do you agree that if the Earth is in the center of the entire
God
universe, that at the least it drastically increases the odds it was created? They'll almost unanimously say yes.
Yeah, I will say this as well. I had a mentor who passed away, and he was trying to explain to me that there was like newish scientific evidence that the Earth is at the center of the universe. And I wish I remember what it is.
Anti-flat earther.
Maybe it's cosmic microwave background radiation. Possibly, I don't remember.
Mentor.
But I'm totally
I've never
open
needed a
to
mentor.
Geocentrism, and I have not written that off at all.
Someone said not a cop-out, bro. Like I think it is, but you can see, because let's lay it out the way it really is, right? These anti-flat earthers, if you were to say that you're a geocentrist, if you were to actually research it and come to that conclusion, they would ridicule you, bro. They would mock and ridicule you. Now it would be very interesting to see actually at this point. At this point, what would they do? What would they do? Because typically, this is a testament to the dishonesty on that side. Is every time I try to present this evidence, say to McToon, it's one of the reasons I stopped debating him, because it's just pointless.
He's getting a little nervous. Look at his body language.
Globe now, it's like, bro, why can't you engage in good faith? But he mocks geocentrism. So it doesn't matter. We don't talk about other people as much. Is what I'm saying is like, you can see why people would think, wait, so you haven't even researched it, like you're not going to look into it. That's really arguably the first step. And so you're going to go spend all this money and you're going to go look at the sun, but you're not going to take the time to look into arguably the aspect of it that has the biggest implications.
So no, I've never said that, and that's not my position. I'm taking this as kind of like a building blocks. Like let's start with the first step, which for me would be shape of the Earth. And then once we figure that out, then let's go bigger than that and look.
Which would be the fucking first thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna look into what is the come on. What are the ideas here that I'm looking at?
It takes up way more of my time than I could have ever imagined.
I believe that, but we can move on to another subject. But I'm just gonna reiterate that I think, what I think is, it is way safer for you to do that. It's way more comfortable right now, and I definitely can empathize with that because, like I said, this other side would attack you, and they would have no choice because of what they've said historically about other geocentrists. They'd be in a really tricky situation, and they'd probably attack you.
Well, they'd be all over him, man. They'd eat him like fucking rats.
You kind of look up to them for intellectual answers, maybe, or like for to have the knowledge of this subject a lot, and so you wouldn't want to go against them. And so I think it is the safe bet. I wish that you wouldn't, but I will plug this for anyone here. The documentary, The Principle, which is very old, 2014. It's very good. Obviously, they're globe earthers, Robert Sungenis, and then Heliosorcery, especially for anyone that's a believer. Heliosorcery, 2022, breaks down the history of where this whole
Heliosorcery is an awesome.
So anyway,
awesome.
We can move on, but I want to point out that is actually one of the main. That's like the main reason I do this. Is thousands of atheists have been converted to believers, and it's because they found out that the Earth is in the center. And there's a concerted effort to misrepresent and lie about that. So yeah.
AH was right. That is a really, really erroneous assumption. I have no problem. If you have an opinion about Jaren, I guess that's your opinion about Jaren. I am not Jaren, obviously. I don't live with Jaren. Not even in the same side of the continent as Jaren. But if you think that, although I've never given that any, where did you get that fucking shit from? AH was right.
So I'm not shying away from it.
Sorry, I feel like I hear my stream playing somewhere. Okay. Yeah. Well, I made my position known.
Are you going or not?
It's definitely playing somewhere. But
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, but I do. But if you can, I guess it's fine. Anyway, I hear myself talking 15 seconds ago. It's super annoying. All right. Sorry, it's so distracting. Okay. Anyway, we made my point there, right? I mean, it turns out that the Bible is a science book. It predicted anisotropic stones that weren't even discovered until like the last century. It does actually describe what people call dinosaurs. And I'm not really deflecting, making a point though, that like there's two camps, and there's the people that are like, okay, I had a real experience. I came to the creator. I'm learning, I'm growing, but I'm 100% convicted that is the truth. And the truth is contained within the scriptures. And they found out that man's consistently wrong, and they boldly stand up for what the creator says. And then time and evidence ends up always vindicating them. There's another group who don't do that, and that they give lip service to the idea of a religion at times, culturally, societally, whatever, and they don't stay.
I thought he was gonna do a, I'm going or not going thing here tonight.
Okay, I guess I will reiterate. Do you have any other I want to make sure you get it because I've been talking the whole time. Although I think that was what was important. I do think a lot of the stuff I had to say to you, but I want you to be able to say whatever you want, or if you have any points you want to make. Or do you want me to start asking you questions? And actually, I would really like if you do have something to say for a second, so I can try to find this. Maybe if you want me to ask a question, I can, but this is so annoying. It might be my iPad or something.
Yeah, so, I do have something to say. So
I can still hear you. I'm just going to find the source.
Yep, all good. I'm actually going to give some advice to flat earthers. And again, I'm honestly just trying to help you guys because you're really making yourselves look terrible. So Jaren, is like, yeah, I'll go to Antarctica, especially if it's free. And then everybody turns on him, right? And they're starting to say that like Jaren and I are working together and yada, yada, yada. It's all false. And so what you're doing in that is you're showing kind of your true colors, and you're especially showing Jaron how people on his side think. And then I got a notification today. Literally, somebody offers to pay for Nathan Oakley to go to Antarctica. And all of a sudden, there's a YouTube video out saying that Nathan Oakley is a shill and he and I are working together. And then I'm noticing comments in the live chat that are like, oh, Austin and Will are working together. Like, it's ridiculous. So I'm just trying to give you guys some advice. When you make statements like that have zero evidence and that we, Austin and myself and Jaron, know are false, you're definitely not giving your side a good look.
Yeah, I found it as my laptop. I actually agree with you on this too.
Oh,
And I know why, though. I know why it is. It is because the truth is oftentimes uncomfortable, and the world is not as has been presented, and that is definitive, like for sure.
that's absolute.
No way around it.
Right on.
Verifiably. And so there are people that don't have your best interest, that have made, have implemented a concerted effort to lie to us. And so they don't trust anyone. They don't trust anything. And there is historical precedent for infiltration of groups. There are actual intel subsections that literally do that, and it's declassified. And so these people know that. This is the group of people that know about those documents. And so that's what they think. And
Yes, we were.
It's like, I'll be very honest. Like,
We were scolded at by Duffy.
someone has,
You know what? Fuck him. Who cares? Rat face little bastard.
whatever, you made some type of agreement to get out of something, or you do work for Intel. And that may sound crazy,
Yeah.
but not when you've lived the life I lived, not when you went on tour to talk about the lockdowns and you had actual Secret Service follow you around for 4 days, and then in street clothes follow you around in grocery stores, and you catch them, the crazy flat earthers being literally like watched and stuff. And so I can empathize with them. I think that they're not going about it the right way. I think skepticism can be healthy, but this whole attack, oh, Austin's talking to him, Jared, it's so goofy, and it's paranoia, and it's really deterring. So in the meta point you're making, I agree with you, but I do think it's important to also to show in good faith where that's coming from. It's not.
Look at it. I think he smoked a blunt, man. Look at his eyes. I think he smoked a blunt. He looks high.
That makes sense.
Fucking Duffy looks high as a giraffe pussy.
So yeah, like Tucker Carlson, bro, probably works for the CIA. That's the world we live in. The world we live in. So maybe he doesn't, but maybe he does. That's what I'm saying. That's that. We do have to actually look at the world that way. So I guess we can lead into that, and this is going to maybe be uncomfortable, but obviously one of the main things that people say about you, to me, probably to you, is that you had this situation with finances. And so people proposed the idea that someone came to you to offer to help you get out of it. It's an agreement to get out of it, or anything like that. But do you want to talk on that? I feel a few ways about it. I've read them. I will say there are some serious allegations in there. I also know how that goes. I also know that people can throw tons of allegations, certainly in civil suits. They can just throw anything in there in a way. So I know that, and so I'm trying to be fair about it. But yeah, just so that there are some serious allegations and settlements, and so people are bringing that up a lot, and they're suggesting that that's where you got this sudden interest in flat Earth. What do you say to that?
So if you look at my past, I'm
a fucking liar.
Past twice. So I've got 2 issues going on right now. They're both related to my financial practices firm that I had. One issue is with a ex-business partner, and the second one is with a previous client. But I've had these issues before, and so I went through the process. They made their complaints. We mediated it. We settled, and I wrote a check, and then it was done. So with these current 2 issues, I expect them to.
Oh, Earthship Bear's fine. He can believe in his little upward rising Earth shit all he wants to. He's in the same boat as the rotating Earth people. Okay. And that comes down to their no proof. So they can entertain their little stupid idea all they want to because they don't understand how net forces work. That's all. It's good.
Unrelated to this, and
Right.
so it's like probably super uncomfortable for you. And in the scenario that it is just, I do know that in finances things can happen, things can be unpredictable, things can get salty, people can get salty.
Let me
and sue
back it
people
up
and all
just a
that.
little bit. I'm sorry I talked
Um,
to that guy.
So people are bringing that up a lot, and they're suggesting that allegations and settlements, and so people are bringing that up a lot, and they're suggesting that that's where you got this sudden interest in flat Earth. What do you
Got
say
it.
to that?
So if you look at my past, I have been through this already in my past twice. So I've got 2 issues going on right now. They're both related to my financial practices firm that I had. One is,
And that's not normal.
and the second one is with a client, a previous client. But I've had these issues before. And so I went through the process. They made their complaints. We mediated it. We settled, and I wrote a check, and then it was done. So with these current 2 issues, I expect them to be done before we even go to Antarctica. So it's as simple as that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you can see that
Well, real quick, Earthship Bear, no downward acceleration in free fall. Then what is occurring in free fall? Where is it going? Where is everything in free fall going? Huh? Where is it all going at the same speed with zero net force? That's right.
obviously people will say like downplaying it completely is you're in a position that's tough, right? Like, because as a private situation in a way, right? It is technically public, but it's like a private thing, and like it's ostensibly unrelated to this, and
Right.
so it's like probably super uncomfortable for you. And in the scenario that it is just, I do know that in finances things can happen, things can be unpredictable, things can get salty, people can get salty and sue people and all that. So I can empathize with in the idea that is just, since you're like what you're saying is true, then it probably sucks, right? It sucks for it to get brought up, and it sucks for it to be highlighted, and I get it. But I'm also gonna reiterate, like, I don't think people are crazy for like, I think that's actually a healthy level of skepticism for people to have looked into you and to see that and to be like, wait a minute, do you have some type of alternative? Another thing that people have suggested is that the reason, and I do know your version of this, I believe, but that the reason that you went to church is because you can actually transfer assets to the church and then they can't be seized. Do you have a comment on that?
Yeah, I don't know if that's true. I haven't transferred any assets, and I don't even get a salary. So the reason I became a pastor was because our pastor died. I was literally in the hospital with him when he died. And so that was never even part of my plan. And that happened back in 2021. So.
And what is the doctrine?
No, yeah, I definitely know that.
What are the tenets of your
detail,
church, Duffy?
So yeah, anyway, yeah, technically you can, like, Ye did that formerly Kanye West. He did that. He had like a bunch of issues with taxes. He opened up a church, and he was able to evade all of that legally, right? So, you're saying that you haven't transferred any of your assets there. Obviously, whether or not you accept a salary wouldn't be really relevant because that isn't really the accusation, But
There's actually something called a fraudulent transfer in the law, which is that if you have a legal issue or you're going to have a legal issue and you transfer assets, that all can be undone. So no, nothing's moved.
I would think that exists for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think that people get away with it anyway. But I definitely, I want to make clear, I'm not accusing you of that, bro. I'm just asking the question. Okay.
That's a good question, though. He's not like
so
I can tell that.
Let me see. I have a couple questions people have asked me. I'll find them. But if you have any questions for him, if you want to ask them real quick, are you cool answering some questions?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Okay. And if you have any questions for me, or
what's McToon's ass taste like?
I do think it is important that we both kind of unite in that we make the point that kind of behavior on both sides is toxic. What I will say So the flat earthers doing a 180 and all that. I agree with you. I think you put it pretty well. I think I've kind of given it plenty of airtime to kind of agree with it.
But it
I
only
think that
continues that
it
way,
makes us look
Earthship
bad.
Garrett.
I
You
think it makes us
continue
look
increasing
dishonest.
the
It makes us
acceleration
look
of the
like we don't even
motion.
really,
Sorry, bud.
we don't have conviction in our position. It makes us look like what a lot of the other side acts like. And I completely disavow that. I don't think people should do that. I think people should be honest and stop accusing people, being super paranoid, all this weirdo stuff. Like, but what I haven't really heard you point out is the other side, right? And this is, I'm not gonna say you haven't at all, but this is the problem, bro. The other side is incredibly dishonest. They will claim that sunsets disprove flat Earth. To this day, we're talking about people that have been in the conversation for 8 years. Okay, sure. Let's just say,
I know,
okay,
I
you can
hear that
disagree.
dumb shit.
I would reserve the dishonest accusation there. It's like, okay, still man of flat Earth sunset. They literally can't do it. They cannot do it. So if you've been in here for 8 years and you can't do that, you can't still man any of the flat Earth positions, but you know they're wrong. Like you're dishonest. So
I think that's a big one because that's one of the first things. Your mommy, where does the sun go at night? You know, oh, it goes around the globe. Okay.
us saying that we're scared, saying it's going to prove it, stupid flirt, saw how your grift is over, da 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 da, because that's how they always act. So you see, this is actually out of the norm for flat earthers. For there to be a large percentage of flat earthers kind of acting weird, and it's because they're really being faced with the fact that they're really convicted and they know a 24-hour sun would realistically make them step back and pause and be like, what's going on? So they're getting kind of uncomfortable, and they should handle themselves better. But you can,
Well, if there was a 24-hour sun, and of course, if a bullfrog had wings, it wouldn't bump its ass every time that it fucking jumped, right? Isn't that true? Yes, it is. Now, with your air bubble there, whoever the uprising Earth guy is, the air bubble is only going to do that if there's constant acceleration occurring. Once you have it at a steady, constant speed, it's not going to occur anymore. Okay? So if the Earth is uprising and that's the cause of that effect, that would mean that the Earth is continuously accelerating faster and faster and faster all the time.
I've noticed no change in behavior, is what I'm saying.
Here's my advice for the globe side, and honestly, this is good advice for the flat Earth side as well. And this is just how I think. I would tell the globe side, if you're going to make an argument, first see if it will be convincing to the flat Earth side, right? Otherwise, you're just wasting air by making that argument. Same with the flat Earth side. So, like, if someone on the globe side was going to like launch up a balloon to prove curvature or something, it's like, okay, before you do that, ask the flat earther, will you accept it, right? Talk to the flat earthers first and see what they think. Because if they're just going to say, well, your camera's going to have a fisheye lens, so it doesn't work, well, then why are you going to waste the time? Like both sides need to ask the other side, would this convince you? And how can I do it to convince you? And then move forward from there. So that would be my advice.
My biggest question is, why is it so goddamn important for you to convince me? If you're convinced, isn't that good enough?
Ask a flat earther, does that work for you? Would that convince you? If I took a picture of a sunset or a video of a sunset, would that change your mind? And if they say no, then ask them why, which you will better understand their position. And then you might not want to waste your time making that argument.
Yeah, I mean, sounds good. You know, that's that what you just said will never be. I mean, they know, dude. They watched like 50 episodes of my school. Like these people know exactly what our arguments are. They will never still man it. And to me, there's no way around it. That's dishonest. When you hear it and you don't, like, I make a point to still man the globe. And I would say I actually give them better arguments than they present a lot of the time. I think it's very important in order to be honest, right? And I guess more so what I meant specifically is how if we're going to call out the flat earthers, where they're saying like, oh, Austin's a shill, confirmed Mason, this weirdo, like pareidolia, like paranoia stuff. Like, we should also call out the behavior that is typical, since that is actually atypical. It exists, but it's always a minority. The typical behavior of, oh, Witsit will never go. He's such a grifter. Jaren can never actually do this because he knows he's lying. He's just stealing money. These people know that the Earth's not flat, and they're a bunch of liars. They'll never actually go. They're just going to avoid it. That is 95% of the people on the globe side. That's what they all have been saying every single day in all of my replies and all of my emails for weeks since this first started. That is actually the majority position, is to immediately defame, slander, libel,
Yep.
personally discredit. That's just the norm. And frankly, of course it is, because if someone truly thinks flat Earth is stupid, they're just going to go on about their life. They're not going to obsessively stalk it for years. That is a specific minority of the population that is kind of weird. Like,
not only they care to the point of spending exorbitant amounts of money to convince someone else of something that they're already convinced of. Right on.
and can you acknowledge that it is like very popular amongst that crowd?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What I will say that I've seen, which has been encouraging, is Globers are starting to change their tune about Jaren, meaning they're like, okay, he seems to be more sincere. He's being honest. He's accurately representing the globe model in terms of the 24-hour sun, and he's explaining to flat earthers why it can't happen on an AE map. And so, yes, the previous things that are said and attitudes that were had was not good, but at least I'm seeing some change now that he's doing what he's doing, being willing to go to Antarctica, etc.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I think honestly, it's only that all the flat earthers are upset with him right now, but I mean, I'm not gonna pretend here. Like, the Globe Earth online presence is super toxic, and there's no doubt that they're all saying stuff like that. I don't watch McToon, obviously. The last clip I saw of him, he literally looked possessed, and he was screaming about how I'm a liar and all
Oh my
stuff.
God, that was terrible. Yeah.
Literally, you can just Google what I said, and he was wrong. But the point is that he's saying the same thing. He's saying that I can't actually go. There's no doubt. I don't have to watch him. I know he's saying it. And so they all say it. It isn't anything new. And them kind of being like, oh, well, at least Jaren's kind of honest. It's like this backhanded slight anyway. So it doesn't matter. This is a futile pursuit. They aren't going to change their behavior.
No.
But I think realistically, if anyone
no matter
watches
what.
my stuff, they know that I make it a point to try to be honest. And if I find out I'm wrong about something, I tried to say that. So I don't think they'll ever admit that though. But if you have any questions for him, tag me or send them a super chat. Do you care if I run through some of these real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Question: why would a 24-hour sun disprove flat Earth? Can you explain why a 24-hour sun can exist on a flat Earth? Why would that be unique to a globe? Yikes!
Sure.
That's a real basic. Go ahead.
It's okay. I'll handle it. I like this question. So here's my position, and you guys can think about it and get back to me with if you disagree. The globe model says that there is a 24-hour sun in the north in the Arctic Circle and a 24-hour sun in the south in the Antarctic Circle. The globe model also says that sun, that 24-hour sun, is going to happen at opposite times of year. And then the globe model also says that sun is going to visually move through the sky in the opposite direction. So those are all very specific predictions. And so the flat Earth side and the globe Earth side actually have some agreement that there is a 24-hour sun in the north. So fortunately, I didn't have to make that part of the experiment. And so now we are going to Antarctica to see if there's one down there. The issue with the 24-hour sun in the south on a flat Earth is what I said, which is that if you move north on a flat Earth, you go toward each other and eventually are in the same place. And then if you go the opposite of north, which is south, you go further and further away from each other. and you get so far away from each other, I don't know of a model where the sun would circle all of those people's, go around them right above the horizon, 360 degrees, the same sun being photographed, so you can see the same sunspots. That is why, again, I didn't invent this. So there's a reason why flat earthers have said for years that there is no 24-hour sun in the south, and that a 24-hour sun in the south would not work on a flat Earth. And then the really bold statements came from the likes of like Dave Weiss, where he said a 24-hour sun in the south would prove the globe. So those statements, just so everybody knows, is what I heard and how I came up with this in the first place. So that's my take.
No, I don't think you
All
came
right.
up with it at all, Duffy. I don't think you came up with it at all, brother. I think you're a lying, rat-faced little piece of shit. That's what I think.
I'll just read this off. I don't even think it's a question, but Billy Zick has a book about north to south circumnavigation using real life technology called The Odysseus. Check it out. All right, thank you for the support. Barnes, what is the name of the beer on The Simpsons? Ralph Flirt, easy to play the fence as to not offend anyone. Yeah. I don't even think that. I mean, you do kind of sit on the fence, but I think you are a glober.
Yeah, fence
As it
sitter.
stands, you think the Earth's a globe, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
You see, one of the things someone just said in the live chat is like, Will says that he's a globe earther, but every time any specifics mentioned, he says he hasn't really researched it. What would be your take on that? Like, why would you be convicted in the globe?
Well, yeah. So great question. There's a huge difference between the shape of the Earth and then everything else in the universe, right? Like the moon, the sun, the stars, all that kind of stuff. So again, I've said this before. I believed in the globe because that's what I was taught. Like you're not taught that there's any other models. You're not taught that there's any other people who disagree. You're just taught this is the globe. Here's what it looks like. Yada yada yada. Now, when I got involved in flat Earth, which was 3 years ago this month, and found out you guys are real, you really believe in flat Earth, you have arguments. That's when I had to actually start looking into this for myself. And again, people make fun of me for this, and that's fine. But what was the most convincing thing to me was the Japanese geostationary weather satellite called the Himawari 9. There was a Himawari 8. It was replaced by the Himawari 9. And I am very fascinated. It takes a picture of the Earth every 10 minutes, supposedly. And I'm fascinated by those pictures. And I do believe that that's good evidence that we live on a globe. So again, I know you disagree. I know you don't like that I say that, but that is where I'm coming from. And I'm excited about the final experiment as well, because I think that will either be evidence to back that we live on a globe, or it will give me something to be like, wait a minute, Will, maybe we don't live on a globe based on what happens with the sun.
And to clarify, I don't like or dislike that you say it. Like, if someone wants to believe in pictures from NASA, they can. You know, to me, it's an insane position because they've provably lied to us many times, and you could easily fake the pictures. But I don't really care. Like, the only reason I do this is objectively. There's tons of this conversation that has been suppressed from the public and has been misrepresented. Whether that even be CMB, the average person doesn't know about that. Whether that be what actually happened with Michelson Morley, the reason relativity was introduced. Wikipedia still lies about it to this day. What Edwin Hubble actually figured out. What the people at the time were saying about how, like, oh, this is a problem, but we philosophically don't like it. Where the actual heliocentric model came from. All of these things that actual literal Satanists started NASA, admittedly literal Satanists started NASA. Does that mean they're not going to space? No, but the point is that they're literally, openly Satanists that started it. And so my point is that I want everyone to see the information. That's literally my only objective. In fact, I don't want a lot of people to be over here like hanging out with me. Like, I don't like them. You know, I think that I want to show them love as a believer. But like, I don't. You know, it wouldn't be awesome if everyone was a flat earther. I don't. You know, that's not actually how I feel. So, just to kind of clarify for the audience there, like, I don't try to proselytize people to flat earth. I think the creator shows certain people that his creation is special when they need to see it. All right. My girlfriend worked in Antarctica and launched balloons there. Second fact, my uncle Lai has a missile defense that accompanies, and he goes to Antarctica. Zoom call, NASA proven liars. Very incoherent super chat, man. Thank you, Aaron, but that was break. But I know him. He's basically just saying he's from maybe I won't say. I don't know if he cares, but he's from where tons of history with NASA is. He has lots of connects. And he's saying NASA's definitely liars. All right. He says NASA has proven liars. What did NASA do to earn your trust, Duffy?
Okay, that's a fair question. So When I started looking into the Apollo missions, I was blown away by the fact that you can listen to the recordings. I believe you can listen to recordings of the Apollo missions for all 24 hours. And I was like, okay, that's cool. Now, I didn't listen to them all, but not only could you listen to them, they've transcribed the calls and you can search them with, Adobe PDFs. And I just, again, like you said, from a preponderance of evidence piece, I thought the evidence that the Apollo missions were real is overwhelming.
From listening
that was
phone calls with transcripts is
Okay.
that convinced you? Okay.
Are you affiliated with BlackRock?
No.
Wow.
Are you involved with the Heritage Foundation?
No.
Okay. Someone said, "Can you still man the sunset on flat Earth?"
No. I could take a guess, but I don't know.
Do you see why? Of course, you see though, from our perspective, is like, of course you're a Glober. Like, you can see that obviously that.
Can I try?
Yeah.
My best guess, my best guess is that the sun can be brought back with Zoom.
That's the main thing people always try to say, because like my wife said something to that effect in a debate one time. Like,
oh really?
Fully bringing the sun back once it's actually gone is like very difficult, if not impossible. Sometimes you can bring it back when it seems to disappear. Our position is that the sun is a local light source that moves away from us in the distance. Eventually, it gets so far you cannot see it. And that's because you're looking through
No doubt, right?
more Atmos. And we've proven.
Wait a minute. This fucking guy doesn't even know anything about flat Earth at all. Nothing at all. Yet wants to. What? Come on, man.
Up in the air above the horizon. Literally, you'll see it up in the air.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Isn't the physical curve of Earth blocking the sun,
You
or it doesn't
listen
have
to
to be?
astronauts, therefore the Earth rotates around the sun. Well, okay.
Irrefutable.
All right.
Because it does the same thing with the Atmos, because there are parallel layers of Atmo.
Holy
and the sun goes so far beyond it that it just blocks the light. So it's pretty simple. Like, the sun goes away from us and it looks like it's going down, just like street lights look like they're going down. They disappear. It disappears in.
Exactly. Like, look, we already know perspective. What's it? And he did. Look at if he did last winter. Yeah, he did. He claimed he watched hours and hours of FE videos, and the only final experiment he could come up with is Antarctica's sun. But now he can't steelman FE sunsets. You're exactly right, Renee. This guy's as full of shit as a fucking Christmas goose.
Okay, well, the angular size is what they always deflect away from. They'll be like, it can't disappear from the bottom up. You'll explain it can. Instead of being like, you know what? Touche. You're right. You have physical evidence that it can disappear bottom up above the horizon. So you have proven that talking point wrong. I will retire it. They don't do that. They just say, oh, well, why doesn't it change angular size? And then the next day they come back and say that it can't disappear from the bottom up. So this is kind of this is why I stopped engaging with a lot of people, actually. All right, anyway, and you can see why, if I've taken the time to say that to someone like 1,000 times and they unanimously can't still man it, it's just so stupid to me, because it's like, I can still man everything about the globe, bro. And the reason is because I went to see if it's true. I started like trying to see if I could debunk their claims. And so then I started creating the best defenses possible for their claims. All right.
I won't forget what you told me, by the way. It's the first time I've heard it, so I'll think about it. Okay. I won't forget it either. So if you ask me again in the future, I'll be able to tell you. I'll be able to steel man it.
Cool. Question. Duffy, elaborate how heliocentrism fits the biblical creation on story about the sun.
I don't see anything in the creation story that talks about the position of these things that were created, meaning like this one's in the center and this one's not. I just don't see it.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it very clearly says that the sun moves, right? But we don't have to get into that. I have a whole presentation on it, though. I was trying to find a picture for you to see it, but I'll send it to you or something, or maybe I can find it.
Renee, I just transferred that
can see the
question
sun
over into
disappear.
that chat right now. See if he answers it.
Aaron, different Aaron. When is the trip? Can anyone go with you, or is it fully booked? How do I sign up, and how much does it cost?
Yes, anyone can go. It is not fully booked. It's the cost is about 31,500. This trip, by the way, a lot of people are still missing this. This trip I didn't create. This trip is an annual trip put on by a company based out of Salt Lake City, Utah, called Antarctic Logistics and Expeditions. And yeah, anyone can go. It's their regular rate. All payments go to them directly. We already have one person, actually two people that have self-funded to join us and go. And other people have asked me about it, and they might still be joining us as well. So yeah, the more the merrier.
Do you know what the current availability is?
No.
Okay. So, and someone asked earlier, we as flat earthers, myself included, allegedly, should ask ourselves, why didn't we think of this first? I feel the answer is very obvious, but it's like a very expensive gamble, right? Like in theory, you can go down there and see clouds. And I know that your position is, well, statistically speaking, if you're there that long, you'll have moments that you can put it together and stuff. Of course, the average person doesn't want to spend all that money, especially when we think they're lying. And we know, like, making clouds is one of the easiest things to do in terms of weather modification. I mean, it was on like CNN back in the day. Literally, they just showed you them making NASA making clouds on CNN. So, like, let's spend tens of thousands of dollars to not go see anything. That would be our position as to why we didn't do it, just to kind of address that. All right,
yeah,
cool.
The burden is really going to be difficult on the globe side for this expedition, because we have to show the 24-hour sun, right? We're making that positive claim. And so if there ends up being cloud cover and we can't do that, that's a win for the flat earth side. It's a loss for the globe.
No, it's not a win for anybody. Okay, it's inconclusive.
Cool. All right, I'm going to show you this really quick. And so what I want to do is I'm going to show you this, but I want to show you at some point before you get out here. I don't know how long you want to stay or whatever, but I want to show you a flat earth. Basically, this is, and I'm going to be real blunt with you here. And, it is what it is. People think that when I show you and break down a flat earth evidence, that you're not going to be honest about it. And they think that, of course, there's a disconnect as to would it or would it not prove, whatever, because there's a disconnect in situations like this. And I'm just being very honest. Let me real quick share this with you, though. This is different. This is about the sun. I just want to show you. Because every single globe earther, quote unquote, who continually says the sun could not disappear from the bottom up on a flat earth, after seeing this video, is just dishonest. So you see it, they see it. Let's just play it real quick.
What's the backstory on this video?
It's just a time lapse of the sun setting over the ocean. So see how that looks just like when the sun sets over the water, right? But it's clearly up above the water. So it means there's a horizontal.
Maybe not.
layer. Good.
Huh?
What are you saying?
So I've never seen this video. I'll tell you my first thought. I lived on the ocean for over 3 years in Puerto Rico. And I'm sure you're familiar with this, but there's this weird optical illusion where it looks like boats are floating above the water. And I've seen that behind my house.
Why doesn't it have
it's
Chicago?
It's bizarre. I can't explain it, but I know that boat is not in the air. I just know there's water I can't see. And so my first thought is, maybe what if that optical illusion is happening here?
Okay. And I think it isn't, because when you see the boat like that, you actually see you'll see the extension from the water. You'll actually see the miraging extension from the water. But this is perfect because I want
We're
to
still
show you
at
this
70.
real quick.
We're at 70%
Because
on people
I
saying no.
think,
Witsit will
regardless of
not
what
go.
people think about the conversation, the dishonesty's got to go. I'm not saying you're being dishonest right there. I'm saying
Interesting.
it's got to go. So this sums up the whole thing here really fast.
130 people watching. What is our vote
Here.
up to?
Then
How
let
many
me
people?
switch
Let's look at this.
screens for you. All right. See,
And
you
100
can see that picture,
people
right?
vote.
Yes.
Okay. Let me make sure that
70
you see it
people,
real quick.
70%
So-
say that he's not going to go.
This is obviously a
In
number of
place
different
of no,
pictures.
but that's the only way he can go.
And if you see here the sun, you see nothing underneath the sun in the top left. And then as the sun gets further and further down, you start to see the Canigou Mountains. Now, of course, side note, the Canigou Mountains should be completely behind the curve of the Earth. People will claim it's refraction.
Exactly.
It's a silhouette. It's the absence of light. Refraction just turned into you can just say it. Somehow it becomes true. I don't even want to get into that. This is not, silhouettes don't refract because they're not light. But it doesn't matter. Point here is this is one thing that Globe Earther has to now concede. You see no mountain here. As the sun gets...
But see, here's the problem, God Heart Guardian. He claimed that he watched hundreds of hours of flat Earth videos, and this is how he came up with, the final experiment. That's how he came up with this would be the thing that decided everything. So he's just a goddamn liar anyway. So who cares what he thinks?
Or the mountain. So
what I'm curious about is why is he so worried about that I don't believe it? If he's convinced, and if he wanted to go on his own even and check it out, hey, go ahead. It would be a lot cheaper, right? But why all this? See, this is what I find suspect. Nobody does this kind of shit without some kind of return involved here. That's all I'm saying.
Things can just begin to disappear in the distance because of Atmos. So I just think that's important. Now, when you apply it to the sun, obviously the sun is going to be going down optically because of perspective. And it's going to be
Why the fuck didn't he just listen to some phone calls from people down in Antarctica and shit? Then he could get his information that way. That's a way to prove stuff, right? Idiot.
Would say in the top left, that's proof the Earth's a ball because we know there's Canigou Mountains there. You can't see them. They would claim that proves the Earth's a globe. But it doesn't because just, 20 minutes later, you see the mountain.
That's right.
So what it proves is that
absolutely right.
And not because of Earth curvature, or it's not exclusive to Earth curvature to make it specific. All right.
Makes sense.
All right, cool. Let me check the questions here, and then I don't want to keep you here forever. I don't know how long you want to be here.
Honestly, my bedtime alarm went off on my phone. So
okay, cool. Okay, so let me real quick.
Getting hot.
Great interview, Witsit, an awesome debate on MDD. Ask Duffy what part of his
religion
acknowledges a spherical globe.
It's only fucking 9 o'clock in Colorado, you
religious faith.
No, so my current position is that I don't think the Bible was written to tell us the actual shape of the earth. I think that God's creation was meant for us to explore and discover and find out. But, that means I have to interpret certain things certain ways. So my current interpretation of the firmament of Genesis 1 is that it's referring to the crust of the earth.
Oh my God.
I've told people, I'll say it again, is if we go to Antarctica, there's not a 24-hour sun and the sun sets, I'm going to immediately say, okay, my interpretation of the firmament being the crust of the earth is probably wrong. And I
probably wrong. Are you goddamn kidding me? Holy crap.
Okay,
probably.
Cool. We won't even get into that. I think that there's like a 0% chance you and I could go back and forth on like biblical creation. And you come out on top. I think it's very, very indisputable, but obviously don't have time for that. All right, real fast. I'm going to show you this because people are going to get mad if I don't do it.
The crustament. That's right, Day Trooper. Crustament.
Okay.
Bedtime
so,
alarm.
like I told you earlier, you can see this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in World War II, they used to do this thing where they would guide planes in blindly. So, they would land with actual radio beams blindly. And what they would do is they'd be able to know where the center of the beam was. So as they were approaching, they would guide them with the radio signal sending out to them, right? They'd follow to the center of the beam. And the way you know it's the center of the beam, if you're off of the center, it'll just be like really slow beeps or really fast beeps as you get closer to the center. When you're actually in the center, it'll be a continual tone. So they would get there and they'd be like, oh, now we need to keep going here because we're in the center, and that's going to guide us to land on the runway in the dark. So it was actually it's pretty incredible, right? So anyway, that's how the pilots could land blind. Then someone thought, wait, we could do the same thing in reverse, and we could actually attack our enemies blind,
Oh my God!
like at night when you can't see. And so Winston Churchill's second in command was proposed with this idea, and he turned it down. He said, no, that won't work, obviously, because the Earth's a globe. And very high frequencies, they're not going to be able to bend around the globe. There is no way that we can do that. That won't work. That's stupid. Germany did it anyway. And so here's an example of when they did it. And this is all documented. We have all the source material.
Bedtime alarm.
Okay. So they basically, you send out one beam, and then you send out another beam from a different location. They intersect. Okay. And where they intersect, once you're getting the signal.
I hope Witsit realizes this is all going in one ear and out the other, that he's not taking any of this in. He's not listening to any of this at all. He doesn't fucking care at all.
Okay. So the first distance, and I'm going to do it real quick. The first distance was 450 miles away. Second distance was 335 miles away. Okay. So obviously, if you look at the Earth curve calculator, the target, the hidden is like 100 and I think 18,000 feet for one, and something like 70,000 feet for the other. Okay, so
Irons and Auditor.
anyway,
What's up, guy?
long story short, they sent these beams out, and they were able to successfully intersect them from that far away of a distance, and they blew up the place successfully. Right. So basically, the globe got the globe.
So Duffy's not listening to none of this. He don't give a shit. He don't give a flying rat's ass none whatsoever about any of this at all. It's interesting.
The reason Germany ignored this idea and did it
for y'all,
and that's a debate for another time, is if they knew or not.
Yeah, they refracted.
So, here is all the documentation of how they didn't know. Here's how the idea of like the skywave propagation wouldn't work. That's not how this technology works.
I'm doing good, Terry. I'm hiring giraffe pussy right now. So hey.
First of all, that wouldn't even matter if you tilted up or down. You're just going to miss the target anyway. But they were actually built in such a way they didn't tilt up or down. They only turned horizontally on the axis. All of this can be looked up and verified. And I know you have to take my word for it right now. Not really the point. And then, so what? Say Dave McKeegan made a video responding to this, and he said that it was diffraction. Okay, diffraction. Now, quickly, that is objectively not a viable answer. That wasn't never proposed by any of these military scientists or engineers when they were talking about whether or not they could do this, because they knew it wasn't an option. Because when something diffracts, what happens is it continues to increase its width. The beam gets wider and wider as it gets diffracted. As it's getting blocked, it keeps getting wider and wider and wider. The beams had to stay within 400 to 500 yards each, or at the distance of 450 miles, right? They had to calculate the exact width that the beam would diverge out so that they could intersect them. They could get the center of each beam to intersect so they could successfully hit their target, right? If they had actually had sent that over a globe and it diffracted every time it hit the globe, so it's like 30 miles at first, and then it hits the globe again, then the beam divergence would have gone out to roughly 12 miles. But actually, it was only 400 yards, and you have to know exactly what the width is to successfully.
Oh my God. Oh, and that would explain why Jake the asshole has come at me. That would, because I've done nothing to Jake the asshole, and he just started fucking attacking the shit out of me, man. That makes sense. That makes absolute sense.
The screen or the beam out horizontally over top of the Earth, line of sight as if the Earth is flat. Two different locations. They intersected. They were able to successfully blow up a place that was manufacturing engines in the heart of war with people's lives at stake. Britain turned it down because they said it wouldn't work for the globe, and then they got blown up.
That's something Wong back there eating his lunch.
Perspective where McGeegan will do that diffraction video. We've buried the diffraction video. We've invited him to come talk to us about it. Diffraction objectively doesn't work. That's why they didn't say it. No official source says it. McKeegan said it. And he used like radio stations as an example. Totally different. You have to have very coherent beams that have a small width. You have to know the width that intersect to blow up your. Long story short, McKeegan will probably not do a follow-up rebuttal. Like, he won't stillman our refutation of diffraction. The globe side will have a monolithic absorption of diffraction, and they'll never change. So you can see why, from our perspective, it's like, if I saw a 24-hour sun, that'd be really perplexing. But it wouldn't mean that these like really coherent beams that were shot in order to blow up an entire, manufacturing plant in the World War II, that doesn't just dissipate. We still need answers to many things such as that. And I would say that's a direct physical refutation of the globe model. So you can see why people aren't necessarily being dishonest if they say, well, it doesn't make the Earth a globe if I see a 24-hour sun.
Mm-hmm. Is McKeegan the only one that's attempted to respond to this so far?
As far as I know. Now, I don't watch like Platoon and stuff. I'm assuming they're all saying diffraction, because
I will ask them, and I will definitely look into it. I have no answer. It's very interesting to me. It's more than just.
I'm just a flat Earth virgin. I don't know anything about it, even though I watched hours and hours of it, and I was the fucking producer for Bob Enyart, who was an anti-flat earther. I just don't know anything about it. I have to look into it, which means to shut the fuck up. Let's get out of here. That's what that means.
That's a refutation of what we were told we live on, as far as I just want you to know that we could have done that this whole time, and I have a list of probably 40 or 50 things that literally over the course of the years I've waited like bated breath to hear their responses. And it always gets to the point where they make a response, we show what's wrong with it, and then it stops. Okay, so, that's the untold story. And obviously you'll hear a different version of the story. But I think
hey, we're going to have a lot of time together. Let's discuss these things in Antarctica with McKeegan.
Okay. I think that we're good, man. People wanted me to probably ask more like crazy questions, but I guess I know you want to go, so let me say what everyone wants to hear about whether or not I'll go. As far as I can tell, I think you're probably being honest. Kingdom and Context just said, "I'll beat this drum till death." Will, how can you redefine how can you redefine the firmament against all historical definitions and 500 contextual usages in Scripture? Heaven is the name given to the firmament above the earth. What's to stop you from redefining words like salvation or son? I know there's obviously history there. So
did something?
Yeah, I can answer that. So if I'm right on my interpretation that the firmament in Genesis 1 is the crust of the earth, which separates the waters above from the waters below, I don't see how that is going against definitions. Rakia,
redefining words like salvation or son. Say what everyone wants to hear about whether or not I'll go. As far as I can tell, I think you're probably being honest. Kingdom and Context just said, "I'll beat this drum till death." Will, how can you redefine how can you redefine the firmament against all historical definitions and 500 contextual usages in Scripture? Heaven is the name given to the firmament above the earth. What's to stop you from redefining words like salvation or son? I know there's obviously history there. So
yeah, I can answer that. So if I'm right on my interpretation that the firmament in Genesis 1 is the crust of the earth, which separates the waters above from the waters below, I don't see how that is going against definitions. Rakia, from my research into the Hebrew, is like something that's hard and stamped out.
How is the crust of the fucking earth above you, Duffy?
Crust of the earth would work for that. In terms of the name heaven, people struggle with this one, but there's a qualifier in Genesis 1 where it talks about the firmament, but then it qualifies it, and then it switches to a firmament in the heavens. And so I think that those are talking about two different things. So I personally don't look at it as me redefining a word. Could I be interpreting it wrong?
Wow,
Yes, I'm
yeah,
definitely
'cause
open to
you're
that.
the crust of
And
the earth is
this
below you,
journey
dumbass.
to Antarctica is going to be part of that, me figuring all of this stuff out. So,
Cool. All right. Let me say the last thing everyone wants to hear, kind of my whole position on this, obviously. So I can certainly entertain the idea that you are sincere, and being honest. I will very candidly say that I also entertain the possibility that isn't quite the case. And I would think things like not ever really looking into geocentrism or saying you've heard about flat earth for 3 years, but not really being able to still man a sunset, not really, seemingly every time a kind of a specific evidence is presented, it's like, well, I'll look into that. I don't know. And then it's kind of thrown away, or you maybe just go to hear whatever McToon says, maybe, I don't know. And I'm not going to speak for you, but my point is, that kind of thing, like not really being particularly familiar with a lot of the evidences that we say refute the radius, truly even kind of
get to it.
intellectually understand our position as to why we would say, the lights in the sky don't automatically make the earth a globe. I'm sure you've heard that saying a lot. Certainly can come off as disingenuous. And I'm sure you're busy. I'm happy to say, like, I don't know why you have or haven't. I don't know what all you got going on. I know you seemingly are a preacher, right? So like, so to make this very clear, and people can get triggered if they want to, right? I 100% can see the situation that you are sincere and you think like, oh, well, I got a bunch of stuff going on and this would kind of like quickly get the answer. Who knows? Whatever, right? Like, I think it's possibly being sincere. I also think that you're not going about it the most diligently, or, you're not really trusting people that are intellectually honest. And one could maybe describe the response as squirmy sometimes, right? So that's my honest critique about all of that. I think we addressed the other stuff where it's stuff that I could never know anything about. I don't know what's really going on with you behind the scenes. I'm not going to randomly throw out accusations of you being a Masonic actor or whatever. People say that about me, bro. I think it's super lame and weird that people do that. Are there almost assuredly some people that have infiltrated truth movements? Yes, the government says they do that. We don't know who it is. I don't just randomly say it about everyone. I don't know if they have dirt on you. I don't know if you're set up to do this. I don't know if you know something I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Could that be true? Maybe. Could it not be true? Sure. But here's the conclusion. I am not scared of truth. I am a flat earther because of that. It's been very detrimental, and despite all these people saying crazy stuff about flat earthers, they're some of the strongest people in the world. To be able to actually speak up in this environment is not easy. Now, there's obviously bad apples in every group, but I admire truthers that boldly speak the truth, certainly when they're not anonymous. And I empathize with their concerns. Much of them actually just care for me. People are actually sincerely reaching out to me with genuine concern, whether people think that it's crazy or not. They're saying, someone else needs to go. We can't lose you. This is sketchy. This doesn't make a lot of sense. They cancel every time. Why? How come all of a sudden they can do it? People are genuinely worried about it. Okay. But I am kind of not like that at all. Like, I trust the creator. I mobbed around the Secret Service. I don't really care about being scared of death and stuff like that. If I die, it was the creator's plan and stuff like that. Obviously, I have a family, and I feel very obligated
No, I
to
don't
not
think
do
so.
that and to
I
be
don't think
responsible,
so,
but I
Eli.
trust the creator. So, long story short, if the parameters are agreed upon, and I don't have, so that being final edit rights, like in writing, nothing that can financially come back on me. I'm able to talk to these people and actually fill out the situation, et cetera, then I am 100% open to go. 100%. Yeah, like to me, I want to know if it's there. I don't know why I would be scared of it. It's going to be pretty lame. Like, I don't like when it's cold. I wouldn't really want to do something like that. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, look at how awesome Antarctica is. It's going to be really cold. It's going to have some snow. I don't, but I'm open to it. So I will say tentatively, yes, is my position right now. Obviously, for me, in conclusion, the most important thing is I need to pray about it. And I do feel that the creator answers prayers and will give you signs and will help you know what he wants you to do. I think he speaks through his word. I think that he will give you discernment and wisdom. And so I was holding off on this before truly seeking the answer that way, and that will be my first step. And then obviously talking to my family, who, Kai feels the same way I do. She trusts my discernment, she trusts my wisdom, and we trust the Creator in terms of protection. So I don't really foresee that being an obstacle, but those are the two things that are still on the table that I, could change how I feel. But yeah, there you go. That's kind of how I am right now. Like I will need like kind of these definitive in writing things.
Mhm.
And I think everyone should agree on that. And then as long as I don't like the creator's like, no, don't go, or something like that, or something serious happened with my family, then I'm down to go. Me, you, Jaron, Dave, I don't care who else goes. And then we fully document everything. I know a lot of people like right here, Austin, don't go. Austin, don't go, for God's sake. I'm Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. I would like to think, because I'm being very tactical about my appearances and stuff like right now. By the time December comes around, if I die on this trip, I don't really think that people are going to think it's a coincidence. I don't think so. I really don't. So it is what it is. Like I said, that's my position, just so you know.
But I thought that if
tentatively,
Witsit goes, Duffy can't.
I'm not scared. I'm down to do it. I
Yeah.
want to know the truth. I'm down to call the bluff at the least, because people always seem to back out. And then obviously if I say I'm going to go, I'm not going to back out last minute. Right? So there you go. That's my position. I know it's not a definitive answer. I don't know if that's what you were hoping for right now, but
No, it's good. Yeah, it's good. So just for everybody's knowledge, Critical Think in the live chat is going with us. Another guy named Leonard is going with us. He's self-funded. Candace Owens is still on the table, so she and I are communicating. Alex Stein is still on the table. So yeah, I think there's going to be quite a big group of us. So we're all going to be on the same plane doing the same thing.
Okay, that's cool. More people, the better. I would say the more people that are more along the Candace Owens and Alex Stein side of things is better. But
no, it's not at all.
Yeah. Sorry, I know it's so long, but
all good.
Yeah, I'm glad we finally got it done, and much love, bro. Thanks for coming on.
All right, talk soon. Bye-bye.
All right, later. All right, the camera is going to mess up. There it is.
I just want to see if he addresses what I just said.
All right, I would just go ahead and say, before I even start reading the chat, I know there was no way to make everyone happy. Okay, there's no way that I could have made everyone happy. I don't care. I had a lot of stuff happen leading up to this time, the time that I was going to do the show. So I wasn't able to put all kinds of questions together or whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, look, if I had said I'm not going, then some people would be like, oh man, you're letting them off the hook. Da, 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 da. If I had said that I am going, people would be like, oh no, Austin, why are you going? It's a trap. Like they have inside knowledge that they know somehow. I just explained how I feel. That's how I actually feel. I don't feel the need to lie. I'm not scared. Maybe we're just built different. Not everyone is built the same.
I don't know. I don't know.
It is what it is. If you haven't seen my activism, which I think I could have done a lot better.
I'm good with this. If that's the best, I'm looking at this shit like, dude, he said that if Witsit goes and Jaron goes, then he has to give up a seat. Okay, so what's up with that? Now that he is going with Austin and for Witsit, so that there's just more money with it. This is fucking suspect as all get out, man. It's crazy. Somebody said something about that he tells everybody what to believe and shit. And there's people that do that. People that believe that and do that. They follow somebody and whatever they say is the gospel. And that's fucking stupid, man. That really is stupid. Everybody arguing over what might fucking happen. Let's see what the fuck happens first. I don't think anything's going to happen at all. I think we're going to be in the same boat we're in right now. After all, we've had, as I've stated many times, over a century of people stationed in Antarctica, and surely this would be a well-known thing, proven 100 million times, no question involved whatsoever, if it were the case. So let's just see what happens. Somebody kept saying, you know, what they're doing is keeping you distracted with Antarctica. It's keeping you from the north. I agree. I think the north would be interesting too. I would just like to see what it's like there, right at dead nuts north. Let's check it out. Why not? You know, that would be neat. I don't like cold at all, but I've read some ancient accounts of what's actually at the North Pole, and it's not supposedly not really all cold right there at the 0 point. That you go through an area of extreme cold, and then all of a sudden you're in this temperate or tropical type, subtropic type environment. So I don't know. These are writings that are very old by people that had explored up there. And their accounts, unfortunately, only exist in a remnant of the Fortunate, what is that thing? The Incognito Fortunate. And that was lost even at the time of Mercator, but only a few remnants of it still existed. I have a copy of the remnants, and that's very interesting to read. People hit 500 BC and their accounts of what they found when they went to the north as well. Interesting as all get up. Anyway, yeah, fuck the South. Aaron says, I want to see if you got my letters. I don't know. Justin Castro said there's some of the biggest secrets there. Yeah, I would imagine you have to go out of your house to see what happens in the north. Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's a very astute observation. That is a very astute observation. That is true. Where's it? Your pretend good creator can even children being slaughtered. Who's the god of this earth, though? That's what you're not taking into account, Shekel Berenstein. Think about that. Who's running this fucking show here? I'll give you a real easy hint. Okay, it's not the creator God. That's for sure. Okay. Yeah. Plot twist. Antarctica trip is a distraction from the Arctic. Yeah, very well may be. Very well may be. I don't know. There's some really crazy shit going on with the sun recently too. People are noticing some crazy shit with the way the sun's behaving. I've seen reports that sunflowers don't face the sun as they're supposed to. They're actually like shunning it. I noticed. I was outside the other day. It was real nice. I got done mowing the grass, and we were standing out there, and I was like, you know, that's crazy. I got my back to the sun, but I can pinpoint its location just based on where I can feel it on my back. It was like, it's just like, yeah, intense. And it's become like this white color. It used to be yellow. A lot of us remember that sun being a warm yellow color back when we were young, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. In the 80s, even in the 80s, it wasn't like that. I don't think it was until maybe the late 90s that it started changing, and I noticed the change. And now here we are. It's like really fucking bad, really bad. Nothing like that. What we used to experience, nothing at all. So let's see. So Witsit, I guess, and let's go ahead and end the poll because I can stop sharing that because I don't need to anymore. And let's end the poll. The end, it was 72%. 72% were saying that he will go to Antarctica in place of Duffy. Was no, 72%. But technically that's right, because now all of a sudden Duffy can go. So Witsit, Jaron, and Duffy can go. See, and Duffy said he wouldn't have to pay for things, so that's another amount. So he's paying one more extra ticket. Isn't that what he said was going on? So to make it fair, shouldn't he pay for another flat earther or for another globetard to go to? I mean, I'm just saying he should, just to make it fair. See, why is it so important what other people believe if you're convinced of something? Huh? And even if you're wanting to convince yourself 100%, you go there. Why would it be important for you that you take somebody else? See, there's too much is fucking fishy about this entire thing. That's what I get. No cameraman either, right? Yeah. Witsit Bear's wife won't let him go. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, I think that's about all I just wanted to look at tonight, unless anybody's got something of a burning desire to come up and speak about. I had somebody in my comments getting chastised me because I don't believe in voting, and I thought it was awful cute that they actually thought that their vote was real, that it counted, that they were actually had a part in it. And I've explained that you don't. That's just a pressure valve. That's just to make you feel like you have something to do with what's going on, when in reality you don't. And of course, they'll fudge the numbers around to make it look like, yeah, you got what you were after. Yeah. Yeah, yep. That's how it works. Hey, Flatzoid, what's going on, my man? Lowry's here, no longer on the ball. Yeah. So, well, that's cool, Andrew. You go ahead, man. I'm waiting. There ain't nobody up here, you boring ass people. No, I'm just kidding. So I don't know. Now there's just more added to this stack of fucking shit that doesn't make sense. So how is Duffy gonna go and Witsit and Jared? Because I thought that if Witsit Smiling Bob there had to give up his fucking seat, right? So I'd be interested to see what the terms are that they come up with on this. I would probably, yeah, that right there. Listen, I find you really trustworthy, but I'm going to have you sign some fucking papers. We're going to have to come to some agreements on this shit. I trust you and everything, but I really don't trust you. That's exactly what the fuck he said. Stream link. Oh, it should be pinned. Didn't I pin it? I thought I did. Oh, fuck, my bad. It must be way up at the top of the chat. Let me just go ahead and do this. I put it in there. I thought for the life of me that I pinned it. My bad. Wow. Let me do this. I'm going to pin that message. There it is. Wow. That's the first time I've done that, I think. No, I did it once. Yeah, no, I don't trust Duffy. I don't trust any of these fucking people, man. You know, I do this. I'm here in my house. I'm engaged with people here online and everything else like that. But, you know, come on, man. I got to watch out. Some of these, I'll tell you what's the scariest thing is, you know, I take everything it's for face value. I take it all for face value. What's going on, Andrew? What's happening?
I caught that about a half an hour late, so I didn't catch the first part. But did Austin ever ask him? There's two things that I would definitely have asked him, and that would be, is there anything that Duffy is planning on gaining out of this, like monetarily? I would assume so. Yes. And then the other thing, so it may have been asked, but also,
No.
is Will Duffy willing to pay for a $1 million life insurance policy or more for anyone that shows up?
No, I don't think they got into that part at all. Witsit agreed upon certain conditions. I think he was more worried about a hit piece being made, that kind of thing. The only thing he went into about the financials was, you know, it's kind of sketchy about, you know, your financial past, this, that, and the other. And he let him give his little excuses as to why he had to do this, and it's normal, and there's nothing really, it's not an issue. And but nobody, he didn't get into that. No.
Yeah, that's right about when I joined in. I heard him giving some sort of bullshit excuse Like, oh yeah, don't worry about that. I just got sued 3 times.
3,
Oh, is it 3? I thought it was like
5,
is more? Oh, 5. Oh.
5. He's got 3 still pending.
Yeah. And of course, he's nice and calm and just explaining that there was what do they call it? Mediation. And I wrote a check
Mhm.
and it was done. It's like, no, it's not done. You got fucking
Mm-mm.
sued out of court. Like,
He
all
don't
right.
have his broker license no more, so that's interesting.
Oh, yeah, because like lawyers and doctors and shit that have like doctors are it's malpractice. If
Yeah,
it's big enough, yeah, your fucking medical license is gone.
yeah. And these suits, I think I've got them saved. Let me look here. Um, it'll take me a minute to find it. They're it's not just like one little minor suit. They involve SEC violations and all kinds of shit, man. Let me see, where is that shit?
Yeah, and they don't play around with that shit either. That's the guy Jordan Belfort, the Wall Street broker that made like billions by scamming people. Yeah, that's federal prison time.
Yeah, yeah. Let me see
So,
here.
anyways, yeah, I didn't really have a
There we
whole
go.
lot to
There we
say,
go.
but uh, except that um, you were already a guest on our show, the Tinfoil Sombrero. Thank you very much for joining us. This Sunday, we're going to be having the oh, the Flat Earth Brothers or something like that joining us, and this next Wednesday in 6 days is the next trivia. That's going to be Mark Sargent versus Patricia Steer. So that's going to
Yeah,
be,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm fucking nervous about this one. I don't know if how hard I can make the questions, but also
No,
thank you
check
again
this.
for joining us for the previous one.
Oh yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. This is the thing right here. This is a broker check. And it's broker check FINRA.org. Anyway, I can put the link to it in the chat if y'all want. Let me paste that in there for you, and I'll
Are
put it
you
over in the
are you
private
saying
chat.
are you saying Will is a Duffy?
Yeah, well, check this out. So, all right, so here you go. There's the 5/11/9/2021, right? That one was settled for 218,000 that was requested, but he settled for 10,100. And then you go to 9/16 of the next year. But you look, here's what you got: unsuitable investments and breach of fiduciary duty. That was the first one, right? This one was on negligence, professional negligence, violations of law, unsuitable recommendations, breach of contract, breach of fiduciary duty, breach of security laws and regulations, breach of security laws and regulations, and settlement amount was $225,000. Okay,
Oof.
so this next one, 4/19 of this year, it's pending. Okay, breach of written contract, breach of fiduciary duty, failure to supervise, negligence and gross negligence, misrepresentations and omissions, violation of FINRA rules, violation of federal securities laws, violation of California and Colorado Securities Acts, violation of the Investment Advisor Act of 1940, and violation of Regulation B1, I guess that is. And that one right there, they're asking for, I don't know what it doesn't say how much that one is asking for. But that's huge, right? So then here's this next one is 6/6/2024, the same year. And violations of federal securities laws, violations of Colorado Security Act, breach of contract, common law fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, negligence, and gross negligence. Now, I don't know. That's 130. They're requesting $135,000 on that one. And then this latest on 6/11 is unsuitable investments, violation of federal security laws, fraud in offer of sale of securities, fraud in connection with the purchase or sale of securities, violations of the Colorado Securities Act, violation of the California Security Act, California unfair, unlawful, and fraudulent business practices, misrepresentation and omissions of material fact, breach of contract, common law fraud, breach of fiduciary duty, negligence, and gross negligence, and they're requesting $360,000. Now, all this going on, these are all pending, and this guy is just, okay, well, we're just going to throw caution to the wind, and we're all going to Antarctica, even though there's been people there for 125 fucking years. You know, I mean, wow. Right. Nothing suspect about that.
I just don't know how someone can look at that and trust the guy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of fishy stuff going on with this. I know Witsit and Jaron and lots of other people have interviewed him and stuff like that, but I still don't think he's telling the entire story because, yeah, he's got, you know, McToon's dick in his fucking mouth. So,
Well, he lied, right? So he says he doesn't know much about the flat Earth. He played all stupid trying to straw man or steel man a sunset. You know, it was kind of cool. Which said, do you think you could probably try to do that, steel man a flat Earth sunset? And he did a piss poor job of it and said, I haven't really looked into it that much and everything. Well, last winter, as pointed out by Renee Bernays, and I remember I saw the video. He said that he came up with this idea for this experiment after watching hours and hours and hours of flat Earth material. Now, how could you not looked into it after having looked into hours and hours and hours of fucking flat Earth material?
But not just that, though. His pastor, Bob Enyo, was the
Yeah.
one bringing flat Earth to him the whole time. That's why he's got such a cult following against it, because his mentor was an anti-flat earther.
Right.
hey, real quick, guys, I got to get going, but hey, thanks for having me on. I'll be listening
Right
in the
on,
background.
Andrew. Thanks for coming up,
Cool.
brother.
Thanks.
See
Later
you
on.
next time, man.
Cheers, Andrew.
Yeah, no, everybody don't forget about the trivia show on they do it over on Melodome. It's going to be really good, so check it out, man. If one of my people can put Melodome's link, at least if they don't have the show set up yet, whatever, if there's a link for it, put that in. If not, just Melodome, his channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. Oh.
No, as far as the statement of hours and hours of flat earthers saying that there is no 24-hour sun in Antarctica, I don't know about hours and hours.
That's not what I said.
every-
You're misrepresenting what I said right already.
But don't
Okay.
worry, Xerxes the Glober is anyway just here to show how dumb and deceptive he is anyway, so...
Yeah, I was just, curious. I was just talking about that we have seen most of the flat earthers make a claim that there's not a 24-hour sun
Right.
in Antarctica.
Yeah, the thing I'm saying is we don't give a shit if there is or not. It doesn't matter. That's the whole point to this. So stop trying to push a narrative on flat
Nothing
Earth.
matters. I mean,
Because it's a globe
it
narrative.
doesn't
It's got
matter at
nothing
all.
to do
You're
with
right.
flat Earth.
It only matters that you talk about the flat Earth.
No, it doesn't
matter what
matter
reality
because it doesn't
presents.
matter if the sun's there or not. Only you guys worry if it's there or not. We don't. It won't change if it's flat Earth or not because it is a flat Earth.
It's okay. I only came up for a minute though. So Sovereign Soul, I understand
Bye-bye
that
minute, though.
you
Bye,
recently.
Bye-bye, Glover.
Hang on.
That's just
I
it.
tell you what.
Glover.
Listen, guys. I've had to pee for the last couple of minutes, so you guys talk for a minute.
Well,
I'm gonna go pee, and when I come back, then you can ask me whatever you want to. But right now,
Shots
I'm
off. Don't miss the toilet with the Coriolis effect, mate.
Oh, I know, man.
But yeah, I don't know. There's been a lot of that claims.
When you get admit to everybody, you're just a glober.
Oh, I told you I have a view on reality, but I haven't given you a claim. I have not made a claim. That's a factual statement.
Actually, I got a screen. I actually got a timestamp of a video where you have made a claim. So why are you lying again?
That's good. Still doesn't change the fact that your orange is an orange and can be calculated.
Can you tell everybody why you're too scared to admit that you're a glober?
I didn't say that I was afraid to admit anything. I said that I do not make a claim because here's your statement, okay? That if you cannot make a claim, or if you cannot make and you cannot prove a negative claim, My negative claim is that you don't have a flat Earth. Now there's my burden of
so you're a
proof.
glober. Well done.
I cannot prove the negative claim of your flat Earth.
You just proved my point that you are a glober. Well done.
It's still not a claim. You can speculate all you want upon it.
I didn't say anything about a claim. I just said why you don't want to be honest and just
I'm
tell people
only
you're a
supposed to
glober.
defend my claim according to you.
Is it because you're too scared to admit it's a globe because you know it's false, or is it because you're trying to be deceptive?
Are you worried because you're afraid that your apple actually can be proven to be an orange by simply destroying the orange? Because it's a red herring in the middle of a flat Earth debate. It has nothing to do with the flat Earth.
What has my apple got to do with you not admitting that you're glober?
It's a red herring. I didn't say that I didn't admit anything. I said I haven't made a claim, ding dong.
I asked you a question.
But your oranges, they are easily figured out. All I have to do is cut the orange in half. All I have to do is cut the orange in half, squeeze the orange juice out, measure how much I
the question I just asked you.
Exactly. You keep bringing them up in debate.
Are you retarded?
So that's why I'm bringing it up.
I asked you a question.
I can squeeze out the orange juice in my hands. Let's look into reality. All right. I can squeeze out the orange juice with my bare hands. In an apple, I cannot squeeze any of the juice with my bare hands. So the amount of juice that I can squeeze into a cup will prove mathematically that it's not an apple. Now, as far as the
can you answer the question? Why you admit that? Why you too scared
you
to admit
didn't
you're
mathematically prove anything. And here's the problem with your mathematically proven.
Just
because you say numbers,
why are you preaching about apples and oranges?
Mathematically proven
can you please tell everybody and stick to what I just asked?
I can say
why 39
plus 48 equals 445. Is that mathematically proven?
This is the issue I have with this
mathematically prove anything.
He's too dishonest just to answer me.
I've answered you several times.
The guy doesn't understand what a question is.
All you're doing is rambling, buddy.
No.
I'll
leave it to Soft.
Soft
can ask you the same
question.
You
Sorry about that, sir.
I don't even know what the fuck's going on here, man. What are you all getting?
I know what's going on, Soft. I asked him
the same question
why is he
over and over again, regardless of
what's he's talking about oranges and apples.
Apples and you can't compare apples and oranges. That's what I've always heard.
No,
apparently that's what Plazoid likes to do in debates.
No, I asked you why you're too scared to just admit you're a glober. Now you're talking about oranges and apples.
I didn't say
Are you another? Hold on, wait a second. I know what this is.
Hold on, wait. I clearly said, quote,
I know what this is.
have a claim. Or
so
I have a belief in what reality is, but I did not make a claim.
You didn't understand what the concept that Plazoid was trying to explain when he used his apple and his oranges. You didn't understand what the argument was, even. I don't think. I think that it was lost on you. I think
you
it was
want me to try
to
guess what
and
the argument was?
Hold on, wait a second. And I can tell the people
before you tell me I'm wrong. Let me give you a chance to explain what I think.
The apples aren't oranges. That's not the point of it. It's kind of the way.
Don't explain it. Don't explain it. Hold on. Let me explain it first. Go ahead and say what you were saying without explaining it, and then I will tell you if I am right.
If I have 3 one-eyed flying purple people eaters, and they meet up in a field with 5 more flying purple people eaters, right? Theoretically, the math shows that I have 8 flying purple people eaters, right? That works out. Does that mean that flying purple people eaters exist? No, it does not. It does not at all. Okay. And this is why the mathematics is nothing more than a description of something. Okay.
Right.
And if the thing you're describing doesn't exist, then the mathematics doesn't fucking matter. You understand?
Right. That's why I was saying, don't tell me, let me explain it so that we can see if I'm too thick to understand what he was trying to say.
So now we're all on the same page, and we don't have to discuss it anymore,
I've been on the same page. What he was trying to say was that all of the math given to us.
You don't have to ever use it again, right?
all of the math given
you
to us
understand
is
the
plugged.
analogy
Oh,
now,
boy.
and you don't ever have
wait.
to use it again, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, you see.
Are you asking me a question that you want me to
Yes,
answer,
I
or are you
asked
going
you
to
a
continue to
question.
talk over me?
I am asking you a question. Now
Would
that
you like me to answer it?
Now that you understand what the concept behind it was, there's no need for you to ever use that again or argue about it or anything else, because now you know what the point of what he was showing is, right?
The point. Okay.
Okay. So over. It's all done. Now on to other things.
The point of him bringing it up, you were to say was that we have been given wrong math and it's been flubbed, and that there's obviously, if we go by that math, we're going to get the same flubbed information, right?
Well, if you're using math in where there's an unknown, in other words, if you're making something up based on an assumption, that's one flawed problem with the math. Okay. Because if there's a wrong integer within that equation, then that means the answer is going to be wrong as well. We can all agree on that. That's accounting 101. That's simple mathematics, right?
Do me a favor. Yeah, do me a favor. Kick the ground. Kick the ground. Is it solid? Yeah. Pick up your lighter. Pick up your lighter. Do me a favor. Pick up your lighter. Now, if I tell you, if I tell you that lighter is 54 inches long and a micron thick and weighs 5,000 pounds, you can very easily break that lighter apart and find out that I'm wrong.
Okay, so I've got another one.
This Earth is real. I can kick it. I can break it apart and find out if it's right or wrong calculations that they're giving me.
Okay. I can break another one down for Zeus if you would give me 2
So,
seconds to talk.
hold on, wait, real quick. So when it comes to measuring, as they like to call it, or calculating, as I correctly call it, distances to stellar objects, okay, when an assumptive value is used in that calculation, then you're going to get an error in the answer, aren't you?
Now, the exact different distances, that's kind of confusing.
No.
Can I finish what I'm saying? Any things that I say, can I finish? Now, the exact distances and all that other junk, all of that junk, you could say is easily unfind outable or undiscoverable, right? So, if I was to say that the sun was huge, extremely huge, like, as big as the heavens, and if I was to say that the sun had a great burning heat, like, nuclear fusion, I guess, and I was to say that the moon was very small, and I was to say that the moon receives its light from the sun, and I was to say that they both appear in the sky the same size, even though the sun is huge, enormous, and the sun is very small and only ever gets its light from the sun. Would you say that I was saying the truth?
No, I would say that you have a lot of claims that you need to prove.
I can prove those.
You can.
I can prove those using something you agree with.
How can you prove that the sun is magnificently huge and far away and the moon isn't? How can you prove
Are you sure you want me to go into that proof?
Yeah, I want you to tell me that.
Book 4 of Enoch, the luminaries.
No.
Chapter 5.
Yeah.
Go from chapter 3 to chapter 5 or 6. Go ahead and read it.
You see what he's doing?
Read it.
He keeps obfuscating when he gets cornered into something.
I didn't obfuscate. It says very clearly in the book of Enoch that the sun is huge. The sun is as big as the heavens.
Why
the
is
moon
this
is small
talking? Every
and
time I talk,
only
he talks.
receives her light.
Can you shut up and let someone else talk, sirs? Okay. When I came in, I asked you a question. I asked you 15 times. Why do you refuse to just admit you're a glober? So can you keep to that quickly? Then you can move on to whatever else you want to. Can you just answer, please?
I told you, I'm not afraid to admit anything. I have a belief in reality, but I have not made a claim to you, and that is to hold you to your stupid fucking claim.
You just did make a claim. You said that the sun was magnificent.
That claim I will stand to because it is in the book of Enoch.
Oh,
It
okay.
is
Well,
in
I
the
don't.
Book of Enoch.
Which
Pick
one?
up the Book of
Which
Enoch
one?
and read it. Quit
Which
talking
one?
about Book 4,
Which one?
Chapter 5, the luminaries.
Which one?
Okay, you see how you brushed
Which
off again
book
my
of
question with
Enoch? I got
asking
them
me a
all.
question with
Hang on.
my question.
Hang on, motherfucker. You want to
You
talk?
keep asking the same ridiculous question, Plaidzoid.
Because
That's
you
how
refuse
you
to
do
answer.
things. You
Stop being a
sit there and say,
politician.
"What is
Stop being
gravity?
a politician.
What
Stop
is
being a politician.
gravity? Aha! It's your burden. Aha! Aha! That's what you
Stop
do.
being a politician,
So,
Zeus, and just
Zeus,
answer the
which
question
book-
straightforward. This is going to show if
which-
you're honest or not. Okay, then
Which
this
book
is
of Enoch?
Two.
Ethiopian, Slavic,
the second
or the
book of
Hebrew?
Enoch.
You want the Ethiopic, the Slavic, or the
I said
Hebrew?
it 3 times. If you can't keep up, then sorry.
No, you didn't specify which book of Enoch. There's 3 books of Enoch. Is it the one?
The second book of
Ethiopic?
Like I said, I only planned on being up here for a minute, and this is way off
Is
the
it?
topic.
Well, just
that I
tell me
wanted
if
to
which
talk
one of
about.
those 3 is it in, and then tell me the chapter. Couldn't answer?
Yeah, I could.
Well, then which one? What chapter did you say again?
The one with the luminaries in it, ding dong.
Well, you give the chapter number, please.
The one with the luminaries in it. I just
don't know
clearly
which
gave
one
it
that
to you.
is.
The one that you
I don't
keep
know which
talking
one
about
that
with
is.
luminaries. Luminaries.
which
That's what
one
we're
that
talking
is. Tell
about.
me
Your
what-
master verse. Your
Give me the
master
chapter.
flat
No,
earth verse
it's
that
not
you
mine.
keep talking about.
You brought it up. What is the fucking chapter?
You
and
have been
verse?
bringing it up for months. Enoch.
Chapter and verse.
can
I haven't
help
brought
this.
up shit. I haven't
The
brought up
one
shit
you
about
accept.
Enoch. I haven't brought up
Zeus,
shit
I
about
can help
Enoch.
this.
So
I
can
can
you
help
please
this.
just give me the chapter? Can you give me the chapter and verse, please?
While he's
And
looking for the
whenever you
verse,
want to get
Zeus,
on
can
the
I ask you,
topic
has
I
anybody
initially wanted to talk to you about, then
I've got
I
the
will
book of
return.
Enoch right here, Zerzuz. I need you to give me
This
the
is
chapter
off
and
the
verse.
topic. I told you, read it. The luminaries, the one you keep
It's
talking
not
about.
listed that
You
way.
made a
It's
claim,
it's not
Zeus.
listed by the luminaries. It's not chapter names, dude.
The Book of Enoch that every flat earther reads is listed that way as
There's
chapter
more than one
4,
book,
the
you
luminaries. The
ignorant twat.
book 4, the luminaries.
There's more than one book.
I don't see
You don't
anywhere
even, you don't
in
even
any
know
one
the
of these
subject you're
3
talking about,
books. Hang
Zeus.
on, let me go in
There
here and
are
look.
I just. What do you mean I don't know the subject? I just read it on my
What
channel
book
entirely.
and
It's
chapter,
live, buddy.
Zeus?
It's live on my channel. Read aloud.
What book and chapter, Zeus?
Book 4, chapter. I think it's 3. The luminaries.
There is no.
And
You
it's
do know
verse
that
5.
Enoch book 4 is a fabrication. It's not a.
It is the entire
Wow,
chapter
this
about.
guy.
Wait, book 4 is
Sorry,
the
so I've
only
gotta
chapter
go.
about the
Have fun with
luminaries.
this
Book
dishonest,
4
ignorant
is the
punk.
only
Have a
chapter
great
about the
day, Sol. While he
luminaries.
overtalks me while I'm saying bye to you and your audience. Cheers,
Have a good
everybody.
day.
Have a blessed day. And Zeus, just get on with it. You're a Glober, man.
Hang on here, chapter 4.
Anyway, and the other
Okay,
thing I was
so,
wanting to mention
Enoch-
was you
Enoch-
recently got your. I really
Chapter
wasn't even
4, you
on
said
Flat
of-
Earth.
of-
You
of
recently
Enoch.
got your vehicle inspected, right?
Chapter 4 of Enoch, right? That's what you
Yeah,
said?
book 4. Book 4.
Oh, book 4.
Yes.
Book 4. Okay, let's see. The
And you'll
first
see.
book of
Let
Enoch.
me look it
I
up.
have
I
the
guess I
first
gotta
book
look
of
it up.
Enoch. There is no book 4. Where are you getting book 4 from?
The Book of Enoch.
No, you're not. No, you're not. There's the first book of Enoch, the second book of Enoch, and the third book of Enoch. There's one's Hebrew, one's Slavic, and one's Ethiopic. There's no fourth.
Give me a second.
I don't know where you're getting that.
Well, I have it entirely read on my channel from beginning to end.
Well, great. I don't see a fourth book of Enoch.
I have it read on my entire channel.
Well, that's
from
great.
beginning
I
to
don't know
end.
where you got it. You could read a fucking Archie comic book for all I give a shit, right? And why are we using Enoch?
You know, if I was to read it, on my channel and it not be the Book of Enoch, then I would be called out on it pretty quick.
Why are you using Enoch in the first place?
Because you suggested it. You guys
No,
say
I
this
just
all
never
the time that the
suggested
ball
it at all.
workers. You
When did
guys
I
say this
suggest-
all. You've
When did
said
I
it on your
suggest-
channel
when did
several
I
times.
suggest it? When did
You-
I suggest it? I dare you to tell me when I
You have
suggested
said on your channel several times that the Book of Enoch explains the luminaries.
No, I did not. Someone
You have
on my
never
show
said
may
the book
have.
of Enoch.
Someone on my show may have, but I've never said that.
Okay.
Hey, so
Okay.
I mean, I have to go through your
What's up,
90
Luke?
some billion
did he
hours
give you
of
the
videos
reference?
in order to show you that you did say it.
Okay,
Hang on,
so
Zez. Did he give you
so
the
you're
reference yet?
hold on,
Sorry?
wait. I'm just gonna say this. Let this be known that Zerzus's proof of the size of the sun is Enoch. Cool enough.
Right, because every flat
Okay,
earther,
no,
that's
I don't care
because-
why. That's fine. That's fine. That's your belief. Have fun with that. Dig. Just have a great time with that ridiculous shit. It didn't tell you how big it was, did it? No. But I don't even know where you're getting this fourth book of Enoch. So that's even a moot. Luke, what do you got, bro?
Oh, you've already got his reference. He said book 4, chapter 5,
Yeah.
chapters 3 through 5, verse 6.
Book 4.
Book 4, chapter 5, and then he said chapters 3 through 5.
Yeah, I didn't see a
verse
book
6.
4.
Flat Sword spoke over him, so it was a bit hard to hear.
Book 4. I don't see that.
Well, I'm reading through it again right now and find out
Okay.
exactly where I was talking about.
All right, you go ahead, and that right there, because it's all right, and that's either way.
Wondering
All
why
right,
I went.
look, regardless
Wow.
of whether it says it or not, it's not important to me. I don't use the scriptures as a reference or as a proof of any of the things that I talk about at all. Now, I will point out that they do coincide with things that I've discovered, but I don't use that as the definitive proof. So I don't even know. I would not accept that as proof that the sun is magnificently huge and far away at all, especially as it relates to Genesis. I don't know. That's just I think that's just way too highly coincidental for them to both have the same apparent size, but it's only because this thing's 400 times further away and 400 times bigger, and I happen to win the lottery 3 times in a row using the same fucking number too, right? Come on.
So would we agree that in Enoch book 3 is the birth of Noah? Book of Noah starts chapter 1, the birth of Noah.
I'm going to tell you something. I don't really give a flying rat's ass about the book of Enoch. I really don't. It's interesting. It really is. I think that there's a lot of revealing information in there as well. Stuff that you can really use if you ponder upon it. Am I going to use it as proof of something? No, absolutely not, because I don't trust men. And for that ink to make it onto that paper, there was a man involved with it.
Right.
All right.
Right. But I've heard you say it. I've heard it said many times on Flat Earth channels. And the reason why I decided to look into it, is because Flat Earthers say Round Earthers will never look into the information they give them. I am the opposite. I look into all of the information given to me by Flat Earthers, and this is one of such informations that was given to me. The book 3 of the book of Enoch, anybody can check on this, anybody in this chat. The book 3 is the book of Noah.
When did I
Keep
ever
talking
tell
over
you?
me, sir. Chapter
I know,
1
I'm
is
trying
the
to
birth
figure
of
out
Noah.
when I ever
Chapter
gave
2,
you any of that. When did I ever give you any of that?
That's a ridiculous question, sir. I mean, I can't go through your 90 billion hours of videos to
I've
show
never
the
asked
exact
you that.
moment that you brought up the book of Enoch. You bring it up
I've
all the
never
time.
asked you
Chapter 2,
one
the calling
time
of Enoch.
anything about. I've never
Chapter 3 is the judgment of angels. Did you just mute me?
No, I did not.
Okay, because I'm just trying to talk and you keep talking over me.
I know, and you're like
Chapter 4 is the secret of the parables. Chapter 5, or then it goes into book 4, the kingdom of the heavens. And what is in the kingdom of the heavens? Enoch is taken. What is after that is followed by the luminaries. Chapter 2. And then if you read that in book 4, chapter 2, the luminaries of the book of Enoch, which I clearly pointed out which way the parables run, so I know I'm talking about the right book. It clearly describes something that is opposite of what you're claiming.
I don't care what Enoch says or doesn't say.
Okay. Well, then stop using it.
I don't.
I've never heard him use it. I've never heard you use it.
What are you talking about, dude? You're just a crazy loon, dude. You really are. I don't know. You come on here wanting to bitch at me and ask me about shit, and I'm about Enoch and shit when I've never asked you nothing about.
Really, I didn't. When I came on, I wanted to talk to you about getting your vehicle inspected. You recently got your vehicle inspected, right?
Hmm?
Okay, we'll have to talk about sovereign citizens another day.
Whoever said I was a sovereign citizen, you fucking retard, because there's the word sovereign in my fucking name. This again shows what a goddamn retard assumptive people are. This is why assuming things is retarded. And obviously, he assumes that I am somehow sovereign in the sovereign movement because of the name that I have, without dissecting what it actually fucking means. What a retard. Do not ever darken my fucking channel with your stupid retarded fucking presence again. I am serious. I'm going to put you the same place as I put fucking Luca. So anyway, Luke. What's going on? Not to be confused with Luca.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I like that guy. What's wrong with him?
He's a retard.
I think he's pretty smart. He's as smart like me.
Dude, stop.
He uses it. I think he's using the chat GPT too. It's a very, very good tool. Very good tool. And where's Flats? I want to talk to Flatside. Where's he?
Oh, he left. He had to go to work.
Oh.
So if you guys want to do something real fun too, go on Google and ask Google what outer space movie came out in 1992. I think you'll be amazed. So just give that a shot. Go into your Google search bar and either voice ask, or you can type it in. What outer space movie came out in 1992? You guys are going to love this. Oh, Flatzoid's in the chat. He said that was a great Luch impersonation, dude.
Yeah, I like Flatside because he hasn't banned me from his channel. But he's still very mean to me there.
It's Zerz's favorite movie. He says Chicago Coming Versus.
And yeah.
No, you gotta Google it. Uh-oh, Dell's Uprising. We got Dell's Uprising shed.
Did I hear right that Luch is here?
Luch is here. It's moving because it's moving.
Is that Dell?
Yeah.
I just listen here. I just came on here to tell you, you're retarded. Okay? You stationary ethers are just retarded.
Yeah, don't call me retarded. Just because I have a disability and I get welfare, it's not. I'm globe challenged is my condition.
Listen here, Luch. Listen here. It's moving because it's moving. Okay?
Luca, okay.
Oh man, yeah, I just want to say you did a great impersonation. I had to pop on for 2 seconds, man. Well done.
Oh my God. Ironworks. He can do a Eddie Banjo, and he does a Flatzoid, and they're both fucking hilarious. They sound just like it. That's a talent, man.
Ironwork.
Yeah, Ironworks.
Yeah,
Yeah, Vlad.
He does a good. We had Flatside. We had a good back and to and fro the other day. Me and Ironwork. It was fun.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, we was having fun with that map a couple nights, man. That Urbano Monte map. That shit is that every time I look at it, I swear to God, I find more and more stuff. I look at more and more detail. And I think last night there we found this area that we had this like big city that seemed to be in the middle of a gigantic round lake with little cities around the edge of the lake. And I was like, what in the world is this, man? You'd think that you'd know about something like that, but hell, a lot can happen in 600 years, 500 years. You know, people change.
Anyway, I saw you got a bit worked up by that last guy, so I thought I'd try and lighten the mood.
Yeah,
don't let those guys get to you, mate.
Listen, I'm serious with that guy. What the fuck? He comes on here and starts wanting to straw man me about shit that I said, and I'm like, wait a minute, man. I'm looking at this book of Enoch's over here. You know, I've got. I don't think mine's broke up into books. It's just chapters. You know, I mean, there's a first book of Enoch. There's the Slavic Secrets of Enoch, which is the second book. And then the Hebrew book of Enoch, which is the third book.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah, but you see, he doesn't understand the fourth book was just a fabrication made much later on. It's not even Enoch, known as Enoch canon, because it was shown as a forgery. And since when is all FE pushing the book of Enoch as any proof of anything?
I'm not. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't do that. I say, oh, this is interesting that this here coincides with what I found, and this here coincides with what I found, and I find this verse here stamped out, you know, like clay under a seal. That's very descriptive of what I found. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, cool, wonderful. Am I going to say it's that way because it's written in this book? No. I'm not going to do that. And that's no better than these people saying, well, mass attracts mass because it's written in this book. That's what they told us in school. And therefore, that is what it is. And it's like, no, I'm not going to go by that. Let's see. Is it really? That's what I got to look at. Crazy.
I just still got my question lingering. If the guy is so proud of his globe, why is he too scared to admit he's a glober?
I think he's just an asshole, is what I think it comes down to. He's a contrarian. That's all. I think he's just a contrarian. And he gets off on being contrary. That's all. I think he'd argue about a stick. It's not a stick, it's a twig. You know, shut up. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, I got to go again. Cheers, man. Enjoy the rest of your stream. Blessings, guys.
All right,
Cheers, Luke.
Keith. Yeah, I'm going to be shutting it down here in just a minute, too. I'm going to get off here. Check out what's going on around the rest of this wonderful world of mine.
Yeah, I'll jump off, too.
All right, buddy. Thanks for coming on, Luke.
All right.
See you later, everybody.
All right. Jesus Christ. That is fucking gold. Oh, man. That is gold. He sounds exactly like him. Wow. We're talking about Ironworks Elite 33, Ironworks 92,000. Look for that. Or if somebody puts in there. So, all right, guys, listen, that's all I got for tonight. I thought I'd cover that. I thought it was interesting. So I guess it's still tentative. He's Witsit's down for going, but it's tentative upon agreements that are to be met. That's a wise decision if you're going to do it. Outside of that, I don't trust that motherfucker. I wouldn't take a free movie ticket from him, to tell you the truth, man. I would hold a dog food coupon up to see if it was real. So anyway, with that, want to let you all know we'll be live again here soon. So just keep kicking it, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can be notified when I go live or put up a video. Let's see. Oh yeah, Lord loves a working man. Don't trust Whitey. See your doctor and get rid of him because he'll probably kill you. And just remember, all you need is fish sticks, rubbers, and a getaway car. Once you have that, you got it made. Good night, everybody.